All right. Live. Kevin Feige, you talked. Beau Demayo, you tweeted. The morning, we report.
Yes, sir. Welcome all. We appreciate every single one of you guys that are currently in the chat, that are showing up, that are going to be coming in late and everything like that. We have a very, very big show for you guys today. There's a lot to discuss. Again, I appreciate every single one of you. Torian, see you in there. Groovy, Brother Stark, and again, everybody else that's going to be coming in. This is the morning report. This is what? Week 2 of the morning report, start of week 2 for the morning report. If you are new here, this is something Chill and I are doing, where we will be covering all of the movie, TV, streaming, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, all that type of stuff you love, we love. We're going to cover it all here on the morning report.
Yes.
And when it comes to DC and Marvel, we got our fill over the weekend. Both presidents did big interviews. I will say James Gunn, or Kevin Feige's was bigger than James Gunn's, but Gunn's was big as well. He did it with the Happy Sad Confused podcast over with Josh Horowitz. And then Kevin Feige did his with Variety, where he discussed a plethora of different things involving Marvel. So we are going to dive into both and get you guys' thoughts. You guys will get our thoughts. I have a lot to say. I know Chill has a lot to say. I've been watching people this morning that have had a lot to say, and I have some things to say about the things that they've had to say about it. And we'll get into it all. This is the morning report. We're here for a good time, maybe even a long time. Chill, it's been what? I haven't seen you in 2 days.
It'll be a long time. I know it's going to be a long time because, oh my God. I'm more interested in what Kevin Feige had to say than James Gunn. He way overshadowed him, maybe even on purpose, maybe his competition. He even tried to piggyback off of Superman a little bit and bring that attention to Fantastic Four, as you should. But damn, Miles Morales, everyone who was on the thumbnail, Blade. We're talking about recasting, but not talking about T'Challa. We're talking about Jonathan Majors, but not saying the name Jonathan Majors. There's so much tone deafness in this man. And he thought he was probably doing a good thing. He invited a select, like the Hollywood Reporters guys, the Deadline guys, the Variety guys, the people who are an arm of the studios. Historically, that's what they've been. They will put out stories for the studios. The studios get to read it over. They give them the exclusives. Here, report on this. When Beau Demayo went down, it was them that went to Disney Goes to Hollywood Reporter. Ayo, just write down that we had egregious findings, and then in the next paragraph talk about how he was, the rumors of him being, what was it, explicit. They use some wordage. That's what these articles do, and the outlets who were invited to this closed door meeting and on the weekend they did exactly what they were designed to do. It's a big article.
It's a big one.
And what pisses me off is the way that each and every one of them wrote the article. It was never direct quote question, direct quote answer. It was wording on here. And we then asked them about this. No. Kevin Feige said it. Quote, this. Then we said about this. And that's why he was feeling this way. I'm like, why don't you just give me words quoted so I know how he said things, when he said things, what you said, so I know what he's responding to? It was intentionally confusing, poorly written.
Oh, and just filled with lies. That's my biggest thing, and it's funny, the shills, the people that are out there that are still, claiming that this person's lying or this person's not lying or whatever. Before we get deeply into it, first thing I want to say, before we came on, I was watching. Obviously, people have been giving a lot of their different opinions on Twitter. And with it being Monday, all the YouTubers are going to now be doing their live streams and videos, dropping the news that over Kevin Feige's article. So I was watching Josh before we jumped on, and before we jumped on, he was covering. He had jumped. I had jumped in on the part. I jumped into the live right on time because he had just started what Kevin Feige had to say about John Demayo's, the shift from Kang to Doom, and all of that stuff. Blah blah blah. Now we're going to get into it. I'm not going to get into that exactly here, but I'm going to get into just this part quickly. We all know that we saw Beau Demayo's tweets over it and blah, blah, blah. So Josh comes in with his 1.4K followers that are watching him right now. And to say that Beau is lying and then to, in the same breath, say that Kevin Feige is telling a half truth when you say that the pivot from Kang and everything, that we're going to get into that he said about that, I think it's, one, irresponsible. And you've picked your side. And again, as a viewer, as I was telling Chill backstage, as a viewer, tell me you've picked your side and what side you've picked before I waste my time and watch you. Because to come in and cover something dishonestly or with bias, as you know, I'm not definitely me, speaking for myself, not coming in here covering this with bias. I may have my issues with Marvel. I may have my issues with Kevin Feige. I may have my issues with, recasting and this and this and that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to keep it and spit it to you 100% of every single time. Every single time. I'm not going to have my biases in there. So if you're going to have your bias in there, and you're going to be in there talking about, oh, well, this person lied, and then you're sitting there, and I get it. As YouTubers, some of us make a little bit more money, a lot more money than the rest of us on YouTube. I get it. You're getting your bills paid by Marvel, but still, at the end of the day, is there no decorum? Is there no morals? Do you not have some type of self value on what you specifically think in your own opinion? So I'm going to spit it to you truthfully, without bias and without any of my own personal feelings in it. I'm going to tell you how I we're going to tell you the facts of what this article, of what Kevin Feige was saying in this article, just point blank. And we can start with, we'll go James last, because like I said, I think, like you stated, Kevin Feige's article was definitely bigger and definitely overshadowed James's.
I'm looking for the Beau Demayo tweet about Blade. This might be it. So Variety says that for the first time ever, quantity trumped quality. We had spent 12 years working on the Infinity Saga, saying that's never going to happen to us. We always had more characters that people were asked about than we could possibly make because we weren't going to make a movie a month. That's crazy. Suddenly there's a mandate to make more. And we go, well, we do have more. But maybe that's what we fell into. If there's a mandate to make more, then Nate Moore should not have lied and said that, well, Disney told us we didn't need to make Black Panther 2. We were never rushed. We could do whatever we wanted to do. But that's not why I'm on this tweet. I'm here to see Beau Demayo say, BS. Variety and Marvel Studios, your fans deserve better than PR spin and lies. We should talk about some of those things top crew said and did behind the scenes that led to a culture that had black assistants coming into my Atlanta office near tears about a sexist, racist, toxic, abusive work environment that I reported to the studio in September of 2023, only for them to brush it under the rug and remove me and anyone who complained from the project. Or when Ali himself chastised studio leadership for trying to push a white apologist script that shoehorned Dane Whiteman's great-grandfather. Is Dane Whiteman, is that the Black Blade or Ebony Blade? Black Knight?
Mm-hmm.
Great-grandfather as
Dane
Blade's
Whitman.
happy white woke helper through production, only to have black leads and crews speak out about racism and problematic tropes. But sure, overexpansion, Kevin. Do people really buy this BS? Ryan Coogler and Ryan Reynolds made a better Blade movie in the time it took Marvel not to make one. It's not overexpansion, it's bad leadership, bad racism, and general incompetence. That might not have been the quote I was looking for.
Well, before we even get into his, if you don't, because I don't know who has seen the article, read the article, let's pull varieties and let's go through that. And then once we get to each of the points, we can go to what Beau said or what others have said or what our own thoughts are or whatever.
Okay. Is it sharing?
It's still on Twitter.
Fudge. Variety. Marvel plans to recast the They did 2 articles. Is this the one? Recast the X-Men, eventually Tony Stark after Avengers Secret Wars, but reboot is a scary word, says Kevin Feige. Is it?
See,
I like the way Hollywood Reporter broke it down.
We can do Hollywood Reporter. That's fine.
Hollywood Reporter it is. Because they actually had like bold letters and headings with each topic.
Yeah.
So we'll go straight to in a nondescript conference room on the very descript floor of Marvel Studios, Iron Man statues, superheroes, murals, is a padlocked door. Behind that padlocked door, a white board featuring a plan for Marvel movies spanning the next 7 years. So this is all for show, right? They want us to think of these guys as people who've got it together. They plan what we're going to put on that whiteboard for these people to come inside and look at. It's so empty to me. So teased Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige, the producer behind the most successful run of movies in Hollywood's history, as he welcomed a select group of journalists into the same room where he first met Doctor Strange. Marvel's run has been tested of late, this year especially. Thunderbolts, Brave New World, grossed amongst the lowest totals for the company, but Feige isn't interested in your theories of superhero fatigue, which he doesn't buy as real. I agree with him. He pointed to DC Studios' Superman, which is doing strong at the box office, at least domestically. Feige said he texted filmmaker James Gunn to let him know how much he liked it. I love how you jump right into it. Feige, let me put the Feige hat on when I do Feige. Feige enthused of the film, which Gunn directed by after he helmed Guardians. You don't know who Mr. Terrific is? Tough. You'll figure it out. You don't know what this is? Just go. This is a fully fleshed out world. Even if he doesn't buy the idea of superhero fatigue, Feige, his team, have done plenty of postmortems on this year's underperforming movies and on all their movies since the massive success of Avengers Endgame. Darius, is there anything you want to say about the whole Mr. Oh, you don't know who Mr. Terrific is? All right, then. Don't worry about it. Anything you want to say about this?
On this part, no. My thoughts haven't come in yet on this part. I mean, the only thing I saw on this was, no. He's right on everything he's got here. That it's a fully fleshed out world. If you don't know who Mr. Terrific is, tough. You will by the end of the movie. That's true. He's right, and on the superhero fatigue, I agree there as well.
Keep that in mind for Captain Marvel too, because you don't know who Kamala Khan is. Tough. You'll just figure it out. That should have been it. Keep that in mind for Thunderbolts. You don't know who these guys are? Don't worry, you'll figure it out. As long as you have a star in the center of it, you can surround anyone beside them. That's what Superman is. And just to add, that's the quote part, and then it's just a paragraph of words. And that's why I mean by terribly written. Like, I got to read all of this just to get to the quotes. Right now, the company is prepping for the July 25 release of Fantastic Four. I don't even want to read this. One thing that Feige seems to relish is that this is a new movie, is mostly self-contained, and is in a fully fleshed out world that doesn't require the dreaded word homework. We didn't want to have the Eternals issue of, where were they? Where have they been? How come they didn't help with Thanos? He explained. We wanted them to be apart from our reality so that we didn't have to say, oh, look, they were hiding over here. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, so far, Kevin Feige? No, not bad. So that's why they're apart from our reality. They're another universe, but Chillmonger prefers movies that take place in the MCU, and so I would like for them to join. Me and Darius fought about that last week. And highlighting a 1960s aesthetic was more than just a period piece choice. It was a unique aesthetic that felt like it could absolutely be its own world, its own reality. And when we show it to audiences in the screening process that we do leading up to it, people just accept it right off the bat and feel liberated that they can just enjoy what's ahead of them. He underscored. It is no homework required. No homework required. Yeah. In a freewheeling discussion with the journalist, Feige wearing a blue Fanta. I don't give a fuck. Exit of Jonathan Majors. Here is what the Hollywood Reporter learned. Yes, Feige knows Marvel made too many movies and shows, and the other things they did wrong. From Iron Man 2008 to Endgame, Marvel produced around 50 hours of screen storytelling in the 6 years since Endgame. The number jumped to an outstanding 102 hours. That's crazy. 127 if you include animation. That's too much, Feige said. Time out. When Kevin Feige says that's too much, I want to know what the question was specifically. He's just saying that's too much. That could have been anything, right? Is he just speaking about the output, about the hours, about the where, this is why it's what I mean. Do you get it? It's how frustrating it is to know. Was someone throwing out these numbers of 102 hours or compared to 50 hours? Are someone throwing that out and then he says that's too much? Tell me what he's saying is too much. He characterized the time period after Endgame as an era of experimentation, evolution, and unfortunately expansion. And while he's proud of the experimentation, he points to series WandaVision, Loki as the best stories they've made, he admits. It's the expansion that is certainly what devalued that output. Seeing high on... Yeah, right? Hard to read. Why that's not a sentence that ended that way. Why wouldn't they just quote him completely the whole way through? Being high on success also may have pushed Marvel to readily agree to try to deliver more programming at a time when Disney and the rest of Hollywood were engaged in the streaming wars. It was a big company push, and it doesn't take too much to push us to go, people have been asking for Ms. Marvel for years, and now we can do it. Do it. All right. Kevin Feige, I remember you on stage at D23 in 2020. We got Kamala Khan. She's a Muslim, Pakistani superhero. You did not know who she was. Don't lie and start quoting yourself from the past where it doesn't... All you got to do is push us to go, people have been asking for Ms. Marvel for years and now we can do it. Do it. Don't lie to me, Kevin Feige. Oscar Isaac wants to be Moon Knight? Do it, recalled Feige. So there was a mandate that we were put in the middle of, but we also thought it'd be fun to bring these to life. Marvel had already pulled back the amount of movies and shows it makes. Some years may even only have one movie. Certainly, there will be years with only one TV show. Also, Marvel has started grinding down on budgets, with movies costing up to a third cheaper than the films from 22 and 2023. Okay, let's talk about this. Tell me how you feel about everything he's talking about with Oscar Isaac. We wanted to do something. We just greenlighted. We greenlight things here and there. Isn't that a signs of a poor leader where you just go, oh, actor wants to do it? All right, fine, we'll do it. Not weaving in Moon Knight and the ancestral plane that they have to other franchises with ancestral planes. Isn't he showing how bad of a planner he is? Yeah, you can do quantity, but at least have him know where Oscar Isaac is going to be next year and 2 years from now, and we still haven't seen him since his show.
No, I mean, I agree there, but I agree there because we've talked at length before about phases 4 and 5 and how phases 4 and 5 were complete and utter shits with some diamonds shining within that shit. Your No Way Homes, your Lokis, your WandaVisions and things like that. But it was more so just, Moon Knight was underwhelming. I wasn't the biggest Moon Knight fan going into it, but at the time, one of my co-hosts were. That was his favorite, and still, I believe, is his favorite Marvel superhero. So he's jazzing up Moon Knight way before we even get to, the actual episodes and things like that. And then when we actually all sat down and did our reactions, he hated it. It wasn't anything like the comics or anything like that. And, one of the things that Marvel kept saying before we watched Moon Knight, hyper violent, using words like that, blah, 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 and what it was going to be. Actually, so it was, we know what phases 4 and 5 were. And I think that just falls into that category of that shit from phase 4 and 5. Is he a poor planner? Have we not seen those characters since? Yeah, they said yesterday on Twitter that it's been 6 years or 8 years since Shang-Chi or Simu Lee was casted as Shang-Chi, and we've seen him twice, I think once. Sorry, I said twice because of the post-credit scene, but once. So yeah, are they poor planners when it comes to things like that? Absolutely. They're talking about not even seeing the Eternals. He mentioned some of those things in here about the post-credit scenes and things like that and how they're going to play out in the future of the MCU. but these are characters that we still have not seen. And this is why a lot of people were saying early on, before Secret Wars, before we even knew the Russos were officially doing Secret Wars and things like that, but when we had like an idea of what the cast or Avengers could have been in Secret Wars and Doom, and at the time Kang Dynasty, no one cared about those characters because we weren't attached to those characters because of how poor phases 4 and 5 went, and because of how little we saw those characters. The thing that happened in the Infinity Saga that made us care about all of those characters and had us damn near, a lot of people in tears at the end of Infinity War, wondering, oh shit, are our heroes going to survive? What's going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. That feeling was because of the cohesiveness that was the Infinity Saga. We saw our heroes multiple times. We saw our heroes teaming up. We mentioned our heroes here and there. We mentioned events here and there.
Infinity
in this
Stones here
exactly,
and
exactly. In this current phase and saga that we're in, we've not traveled the multiverse. We've not mentioned events. He said in Daredevil season 2, don't expect them to mention Thunderbolts events. Why the fuck not? That it's things like that aren't. So when I sit down with as I told you, I sat down with my casual friends for dinner, and they were asking about the Thunderbolts and said, well, we don't know who these characters are. They seem less important. Meraxes, get down. They seem less important, and this and this and that. It's because of the lack of cohesiveness there. You don't have people that care about these characters because you've not shown these characters enough. So yeah, I mean, She-Hulk. We're talking about. Hold on, this motherfucker. Hold on.
Don't worry, I got it. I got this because I wanted to share that moment with Kamala Khan. This was.
So let's reveal the first one. Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, Muslim Pakistani teenager from Jersey.
Does this sound like he knows who that character is there? Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan. That's not someone who's been, as he says in the quote from the Hollywood Reporter, it was a big company push. It doesn't take too much for it to push us to go. People have been asking for Ms. Marvel for years, and now we can do it? Do it! Then Doc doesn't even know the name. He called her Camilla. That's not a slip of tongue. That's not, oh, Kamala Harris calls herself Kamala. They're spelled the same way, Kamala. I've made that mistake too. That he went Camilla in a 2019 D23 Expo. No, yeah, we heard it. Like it's so like transparent, and I love that we have history. Reading a script for sure. I wasn't asking for Ms. Marvel, but I got it, gave it a chance and liked the show. Oh, I wasn't speaking to the quality of the show, just the integrity of this liar. Keep on reading. It was a big company push, so there was a mandate that we were put in the middle of, but we also thought it'd be fun to bring these up. You know what I want to do also, since I keep bringing up that there's this mandate to push things out and to produce things, which I'm sure there was. That's why they were supposed to do more TV shows, and initially they only wanted to do WandaVision, which tied into Doctor Strange, Loki, and Falcon Winter Soldier tied into something eventually. But it feels like ever since Moon Knight, She-Hulk, ever since then, it was like, oh, you just want us to make quantity. I get that. I understand that, and I agree with that. But I want to get to, and E-Man had the interview with Nate Moore. I want to show that clip. Would that be a sideline? Just take my word for it. Nate Moore said, we were told that we don't have to make this movie. Disney didn't force us. That's what Nate Moore said. So he still made the movie anyways, because he would have been out of a paycheck that year, and a whole lot of people. Anyways, here's why Thunderbolts failed, even though it's a very, very good movie. The massive expansion into TV and focus on Disney Plus led to the feeling that watching Marvel was becoming a type of homework. It's that expansion that I think led people to say, do I have to see all of these? It used to be fun. But now, do I have to know everything about all of these? And I think the Marvels hit it hardest, where people are like, okay, I recognize her from a $1 billion movie, but who are those other two? I guess they were in some TV show. I'll skip it. Very tone deaf.
Not him talking about mentioning her from a $1 billion movie. Listen, that movie I know that movie made $1 billion because we were bamboozled into thinking something.
Wait, no, because you had to do homework to know that she was going to be in Avengers Endgame.
Well, that too.
So now we're talking about homework being a driving force to make people watch movies. Don't use it you're literally using it for the opposite reason of what it's there for. Captain Marvel was featured at the end of Infinity War in an amazing post-credit scene. You displayed it perfectly fine. But when it's a movie that has nothing to do with anything, we see the movie only gross $200 million. And yes, actor strikes, they couldn't really promote it the way that they wanted to promote it.
Even if they would have gotten to promote it the way they would have wanted to promote it, I still think it wouldn't have done what
okay, 300 million.
Maybe.
So and they didn't name it Captain Marvel either. You did so many mistakes with that. I would have called that movie Captain Marvel 2. I wouldn't have called it The Marvels and strip her of her top tier title status. But that's what homework does for you. Homework makes the customers. And when they feel like, oh, this is all part of a world, they watched Captain Marvel 1. When they kind of got tired of it by 2023 or 22, when that movie came out. But by the time we kind of were like over this Marvel thing and didn't feel like it was all necessary, we stopped watching. So don't say homework is the reason why. No, bro. Deadpool 3 was successful because of Deadpool 1 and 2. That's how things work historically. Anyone disagree with me? If there's a counter opinion in the live chat, we've been kind of neglecting them. Anyone want to say anything? Dre was here earlier. He was streaming. He even shouted us out. I liked Ms. Marvel and I liked Moon Knight, and they were crazy off from the entire overall vision of the multiverse. He is in a bubble. He needs to talk to random people in a store that don't know him and see what they say. What I get from casuals is they're tired of comic book movies and too much homework, but they will watch some. I don't agree.
But I don't think that casuals. We all know why people, and again, Kevin Feige refuses to say this. They might secretly talk about this behind closed doors. They just refuse to say it out in public. But it's not because people had to do homework that casuals stopped watching Marvel films. And first of all, I think that that's ridiculous anyway, to say that, hey, because you have to do homework, you have to go watch this to understand that's why casuals are like, oh geez, that's just tiring. Bullshit. That's how you started the whole universe. You had to understand this movie to watch that. You had to So everything is always connected in Marvel for 10 years. So now then the cracks started showing. It's like, oh no, it's homework. No, it wasn't homework. It was the direction they chose to go with the characters that they chose, with the stories they chose, with the directors that they had, and then everything. The Disney Plus
credit scenes. The end credit scenes don't even lead to anything anymore. I could wait 6-7 minutes to watch all the names go by in black, and when it's time to see Deadpool and Wolverine, right? What do they got planned for Deadpool after this movie? I want to see what happens. And it's just a joke about how Human Torch was swearing, and that's why Cassandra Nova killed him. That it's so lame. Their decisions, yeah.
I think, and like I said, I don't think casuals are sick of homework. I think it's just casuals got sick of bullshit. I mean, nobody wants. They don't want to say that. Marvel doesn't want to say that, but that's what it is. That's what it is. Just think about this. Guardians of the Galaxy was making no money in that same era. It's in that same time of nobody wanting to, people being done with Marvel's bullshit. But then once the word of mouth got out that, oh, this is some good shit. What'd that movie make? 800? 700?
Yeah.
The word of mouth got around and casuals went and sat down. It's not nobody wanting to do homework. It's not fatigue, and he recognizes that not being fatigue. It's the bullshit. That's what it is.
Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. Am I bad about that money? Break it.
Thank you to Dre Max Show. I'm gonna call him Kevin B. Lion instead of
Definitely. That's where Nate got it from.
Yeah, callback. And you guys can check out the Dre Max Show morning streams. He was doing stuff earlier today if you want to see him explode on everything we're about to do.
Hey yo, I once was a kid, all I had was a dream. More money, more problems. When I get it, I'm a pound it.
Andre Ware with the $5.
Andre,
is it time?
I was just telling him, appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Is it time for Kevin to step down, or should it happen after we see how the X-Men are received? I would want to step down.
I don't think it's even after the X-Men are received. I think it's after Secret Wars. After Secret Wars. how is Fantastic Four going to perform? I think that needs to be taken into consideration. How is Doomsday, the first Avengers film since 2019 or 2019? How is that going to be perceived? And then Secret Wars. Now we know those films are likely what we think because of those films being what those films are going to be, that they're going to be billion-dollar films. But I think that it still needs to be looked at.
Depends on the succession plan also.
Yep.
It depends on, is he guilty? Does he feel guilt of what he did with the Black Panther franchise, the Blade franchise? Because he's gonna promise a Blade movie here. He's like, it's not like it's off the books, according to him. But I remember Bob Iger saying, we've quietly canceled some.
I remember that as well. But also in this article, he also talks about, his 2 year. He's on his 2 year contract's up in two years, but he plans to be there for the next 10 to 12.
It's not up to him. See, yeah, he's just putting it out there that my contract's gonna be up, and that's not a mistake. Yeah, good reading. It's that expansion, blah, 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 blah. I'll skip it. All right, so we get to this one. This has an effect on Thunderbolts, which featured characters that were seen on various platforms, including some only appearing on shows before hitting the big screen. Some of them were still feeling the residual effects of that notion of, I guess I had to have seen these other shows to understand who this is, Feige explained. I think if you actually saw the movie, that wouldn't be the case. And we make the movie, so that's not the case. But I think we still have to make sure the audience understands that. No bullshit. They looked at the poster and they saw D-listers. They looked at the poster they saw D-list characters. That's one. Then they heard the trailer where they said, so we're not even Avengers. None of us can fly. We all just kick and punch. You advertised a bunch of people who are not special. Superman is advertising Superman. Hey, look up. And he flies into the sky. And you see a super dog. Superman, the way that Superman is doing it is, and plus he's Superman, so maybe he's a better example. But the way the Guardians were advertised was way different.
Yeah,
they were out in space. They were special. It's spaceships. The Thunderbolts are just, we just kick and punch.
But I would even say, even then, again, I know some people may disagree because I saw Laddie's comment earlier saying that Thunderbolts failed because it wasn't good or didn't like the comments of saying it was good or whatever. I saw the Thunderbolts. I don't care what anybody has to say on that topic. Thunderbolts is a good film. Had this been in a different era of Marvel, Thunderbolts would have been successful. Here's the deal that I think is going on with Thunderbolts. The same thing that I said earlier. It is just the lack of care around those characters. You're looking at this. If I'm a casual and I'm not in this space like we're all in these spaces, and I'm looking at this in a time where I didn't maybe even watch the last two shows, I might have what came out before Thunderbolts, Captain America 4. I might have checked out Captain America 4. We heard the chatter around it and everything like that. I'm already checked out. So I'm looking at a poster here, and again, Black Widow was also during that cracks are showing phase.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a poster of a character. Hey, I recognize him. I've seen him in Captain America. That's Bucky. That's the Winter Soldier. I think that's Black Widow's sister. I remember him. He was in the movie too. I don't remember this guy because nobody watched Winter Soldier. And then who else is in there? Ghost, her from and the girl from Ant-Man 3. I think that's the villain from Ant-Man 3. Casuals are checked out at that point. So at that point, it's not even a homework thing. It's not like there wasn't enough spectacle. It's who the fuck are they? I sat down with casuals that literally asked me, who the fuck are they? So it's like that's the issue. It's not even the you want spectacle. Obviously we want the spectacle, but if you can take a group like the Guardians and turn them into what you turn them into. Now granted, you've got a talking raccoon, a damn walking tree, Chris Pratt is Star-Lord and Gamora and everybody else, but these characters weren't boring characters personally for me when I sat down and watched them in Thunderbolts. But again, I'm watching everything. Casuals aren't watching everything.
Our buddy Torian says, when Black Panther came out in 2018, Black people flocked far and wide for that movie without even having seen one MCU movie before. Not even Civil War, where he was introduced. Some didn't even see another MCU movie after it.
Yeah.
On the money there. And then Andre Ware adds that Thunderbolts was a good movie. I'm speaking to what they advertised. If you thought the quality of the movie was good, yeah. But like,
oh yeah, no, I agree with what they advertised in this era. Yeah. No one was going to. No one, unless you've been here, no one was ever. And we preached that though. We said that before Thunderbolts even came out. No one's going to watch Thunderbolts. We all said that.
Yeah, very tone deaf. Like this homework thing is crazy. The reason why we're amped for Avengers Doomsday, because the word Avengers means something to us. It's that big team up movie. We've had 4 experiences with it prior, and we enjoyed ourselves thoroughly. Even in the bad one, quote unquote, Age of Ultron, it was a good movie. So don't tell me with, I guess I had to have seen these other shows to understand who this is. No, that's not the problem. Feige is staying put at Marvel for now. No Hollywood executive stays in their chair forever. Whether it's because of a change at the top or bad runs of movies, change is inevitable. And succession is a hot topic at Disney and in Hollywood in general. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy. Feige was a bit circumspect on long. What's that word mean? What's that word mean there? Circumference? What's that? Circumspect on how long he would stay at the company, quietly admitting he has about, quote, 2 years, a little less on his contract. One more time, the way that this is quoted, 2 years, a little less, just those 5 words out of the blue with, I don't know what he was asked. I don't know if he volunteered that. I don't know how he just quietly admitted it. That affects the message. I don't know how to take this. If he's got 2 years left, a little less than 2 years, I guess that would mean that May of freaking 2027. So after Doomsday was Secret Wars was supposed to come out initially. That was when his contract expired. They'll probably extend it for another 6 months to get to, Avengers Secret Wars in December. That's his contract. This is performance. This is a test for Kevin Feige.
He'll be back. They're gonna have him back after Secret Wars.
You're anticipating a good Fantastic Four, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and Doomsday Secret Wars. That's what you're anticipating.
Well, again, I can't tell the future of what the box office or where people's feelings are going to be in 2026 and 2027. But if history shows anything, Spider-Man always makes $1 billion. It's a Spider-Man film, and we've heard John Bernthal has been confirmed by Kevin Feige as Punisher is going to be in it. Obviously, he said it's going to be a little tonally different. And I even said that on Twitter. I'm like, yeah, it's got to be. It doesn't have to be, but in the MCU, it's going to be. So you've got that, and then you've got, again, the first Avengers film featuring Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. The curiosity alone is going to drive people to the films. And then again, toward the end of this year, once they drop that first trailer, word, mouth, excitement, hype is gonna. So I anticipate for both of those, Secret Wars and Avengers, to be billion-dollar films. And if we're to believe anything off of these first reactions, I know they're just the first reactions to Fantastic Four. It's now projecting 130 in its opening weekend, 130 million in its opening weekend, and we've heard that the reactions are great. So if Fantastic Four is good, and then you've got Spider-Man and 2 Avengers films right after, he'll be back.
If he leaves, I hope for a succession plan. When he leaves, whenever it is, 10 years from now, whenever it is. But regardless, he stated his desire is to keep making big movies for the widest possible audiences. Do I want to be making big movies for audiences in 10 or 15 years from now? Yes, absolutely. That's all I want to do, Feige said. Marvel's a great way to do that for me right now. Right now. But I hope to make big movies for lots of people forevermore. That doesn't sound like someone who's got confidence that he'll be re-signed. Marvel's a great place right now.
Send him to Star Wars then. I saw that in the chat, and I mean, I don't dislike Kevin Feige I dislike him on some things, but when it comes to giving someone their flowers, is he one of the what they consider greatest producers? I think so. Yes, he is. So do I want that at Star Wars? Absolutely. So if he doesn't, go over to Star Wars.
Kevin Feige addresses Jonathan Majors for the first time without talking about Majors. Marvel faced several curveballs in the last few years as it worked on its post-Endgame phases. Yes, there were real-world issues, a pandemic and Hollywood strikes. There was the tragic loss of Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman. And there was the assault conviction, reckless assault. Sorry, I hate that my mouse does that when I try to highlight a word. Reckless assault conviction of Jonathan Majors. He was not guilty of intentionally assaulting this woman, and he was not guilty of aggravated harassment of this woman. The actor who was playing villain Kang and seemed to be teed up as the next big arch nemesis for years to come. Feige never mentioned Majors by name, instead of calling him the Kang actor at one point, or the actor, or just zeroing in on Kang as a character. Darius, do you think that Kevin Feige got to read this article first before it was posted? Like, because why? What's with these quotes? Kang actor, the actor. I want to see the context of when he used the actor, when he used Kang actor.
Probably not. I don't know. Is this these are his people that are the people he got to bring into the room, correct?
They were selected, yeah.
Then I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. Obviously, what he said then, they were certain things, like with any interview, when you personally select them to come in, certain things are off limits. There are going to be certain questions that I'm going to answer. Certain things are going to be said this way, that way. And that's how you write it this way, that way. Things like that. Same thing with James Gunn and Superman when he invited his press-only friends in. So I believe everything in this. As far as like, did he not saying his name, the just how he's speaking, I believe him. Not as far as like, I don't believe him on the whole. Once we get into it, pivoting and the Kang, or pivoting from Doom to Kang and all that kind of stuff, and nobody ever being excited for Kang and all that. We'll get to that, but no, not that part. But yeah.
We had started, even before what had happened to the actor happened, we had started to realize that Kang wasn't big enough, wasn't Thanos. And there was only one character that could be that, because he was that in the comics for decades and decades, said Feige. Comic books, you know how important them comic books are. They're so important to us here at Marvel. Publishing, yes. That's a bullshit quote.
It is. It is a complete bullshit quote. To sit and say that no one was ever excited for Kang and he wasn't Thanos and blah, blah, blah. If he wasn't Thanos, as I've stated many, many, many times when discussing this, when we've discussed Jonathan Majors and Marvel and them letting him go as Kang, that is no one's fault but Marvel Studios. That is Marvel Studios' fault that he was not Thanos level. Because if you take yourselves back, I use this example all the time, to D23, when they got the 9-minute clip that we didn't get to see until we sat down in theaters of him talking to Scott Lang and telling Scott Lang, I will kill your daughter and make you watch this over and over and over again, asking him, which Avenger are you? Are you the one with the hammer? And all we heard, the description that we got was you heard his footsteps and the camera slowly panning up until you see Jonathan Majors in a comic accurate Kang the Conqueror suit. And then he goes into the monologue of threatening Scott Lang. The internet went wild. I know people like to tell you and pretend like on Twitter, there was no excitement for Kang. No one ever cared about Kang. This was not real. Bullshit. I have a video that we can play once we get through this pulled up of 1, a theater reacting to Kang, 2, montage of YouTubers reacting to Loki season finale when he's revealed as Kang. To say that no one was ever excited as Kang is some bullshit. It's Marvel's fault that he is not Thanos level. The actor Jonathan Majors did everything he could as Kang. He was showing up to set early. He was jogging in the Kang uniform around the set. He was doing that's like actual quotes from that he was actually doing during the time of Quantumania. He was. And in Quantumania, the scenes of him actually as Kang were great. The scenes of him, not that post-credit stuff they did, but the scenes of him actually as Kang were great. So it was, again, you hiring the Rick and fucking Morty writers and expecting them to come in and be able to handle a Marvel film like that, and then making him Ant-Man's villain when we've never been seen Ant-Man go up a villain at that type of level. So it's Marvel's fault. We're blaming Kang, saying that nobody was ever excited for Kang. That's bullshit. It's bullshit.
100%. And like Tina tweeted us, remember that this was a character who they said, "Oh my God, look at the actor! He did so well in Loki. We've got to just make everything wrap around the Kang character." Like bullshit.
Yeah, it was bullshit.
Put this thing back on. He says, "Because of the Fox acquisition, we had finally had it, and it was Doctor Doom. So we had started talking about Doctor Doom even before we officially pivoted from Kang. And in fact, I had started talking with Robert Downey Jr. about this audacious idea before Ant-Man 3 even came out. It was a long plan that we had to take one of our greatest characters and utilize one of our greatest actors." One other thing that pisses me off is that, yeah, he's not Thanos, right? That's what Kang isn't. Kang isn't Thanos. Doctor Doom is the only one. Aren't you planning on making movies after Doctor Doom and after Thanos? Like, you can't just say that, oh, no, there will be no other big hero. Oh, villain. There's no other big villain. Because after you guys get through Doom, you just told me that there's no other big villains. You just told me that right now. That's what you said in this quote. So what am I like? You're gonna create a new villain, aren't you? So don't hit us with that. Don't hit us with there was something better than Kang, and that's why, it was nothing to do with Kang or the performer or any of that stuff. It was just Doom was so much better, because you're gonna try to sell me, in another Avengers movie down the line, that there's another big threat. Stupid idiot.
I agree. And if I just can on here, what he said here, I believe him here this I believe. Do I believe? Because I even said, I think we all said, I think the comic book community collectively said, so no Doctor Doom in Secret Wars? How does that work? How do you not do Doctor Doom in Secret Wars? If we are supposed to be adapting Jonathan Hickman's version of Secret Wars, Kang can't be the only, to where people started speculating. And we even started hearing at the time, because this was before he was convicted, we started hearing at the time from Daniel Richman, My Time to Shine. Oh no, we'll have two. It's going to be both of them, because I believe him. I believe him when he says that the Russos came to him, because remember, the Russos said they went to Feige 2 years before before Quantumania came out, and had pitched the idea of Doom to him with Robert Downey Jr. And that's when they had told him, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that was before Quantumania. They revealed that, and they didn't intend to reveal that, but yeah, we can do the math.
Exactly. So I do believe that, he was pitched Doctor Doom. At the time, they did not want to do Doctor Doom, but I'm sure they were also thinking to themselves, like the rest of us, how are you doing Secret Wars without Doctor Doom? So do I believe that they were going to possibly have RDJ back as Doom, but also have Jonathan Majors there as Kang? Yes, I do believe that. I believe that they were going to do that. But then once convicted and all that stuff came out, he won't even say Majors' name, now. So they're trying to stay as far away from that as possible. That's the only thing in this that I believe.
Yeah, chill. Just keep the hat on. LOL. So this is a good time to get to Beau Demayo's tweet. He was quoting this one. It says, Kevin Feige talks about the decision to pivot from Kang. And it's basically what we just read, right? And so Beau tells us, in 2023, I was working on season 2 of X-Men 97. It was Kang in it. Majors was definitely who would have voiced the character. Guys, this is the showrunner. So if he says that, he's telling the truth. Just like he said that about Polaris. I remember seeing John Wick 4 in March 2023 with a top executive at Marvel at the Americana movie theater in Glendale, the weekend the news broke about Major's legal trouble, discussing how Kang was definitely the game plan and the studio was afraid. He is straight up lying. Variety needs to do journalism and stop being a contracted PR firm. Marvel Studios' pathetic attempts at damage control.
Exactly. So this is, like I said at the top of the stream, when you have streamers like Josh over the Dinner Nerds coming in and saying, oh, well, no, Beau Demayo's lying. Beau DeMayo worked for the studio. Josh just covers like we cover. Yeah, he has sources. He's got inside scoops and things like that. Beau was fucking there. So I absolutely believe Beau when he says, because they were trying to put Kang in everything. We saw the Council of Kangs at the end of Quantumania. Don't tell me Kang wasn't the center point of everything. We were going, if he says we were going to see him in 97, I believe it. I believe it. I was shocked when we didn't see him in What If. We all were. So yeah, I believe him. because they made it seem like we were going to see Kang everywhere. The speech that He Who Remains gave at the end of season 1. Come on.
That was definitely the plan to do it. And he had a long-term contract too. And we saw how expensive that nice home was. The condominium with 3 levels in New York City. Yeah, he was well off. He was Kang. He was you named an Avengers movie after him. You guys were very behind him.
Yeah,
so we got
come
some
on.
scoop.
I take what's mine and take some more. It rains, it pours, it rains, it pours. Yeah.
The Eternals was an amazing movie. Argue with your drunk ass uncles. All right, I respect that. You can have your likes and dislikes. I thought it was a little bit lame. I also thought the characters weren't important. And in the last 4 years since, they haven't appeared much, have they?
He did answer this. I don't know if they covered in the Hollywood Reporter article. I think they do, but he did answer this. As I've said many times, it took me, and I'm not exaggerating, 16 watches to get to where I was like, not bad. Not bad. That third act is still wonky as shit, but it is. It's not bad. I do like. Now, do I agree with you on the scope of the Celestials? Yes, that was dope. How big Arishem was, how threatening Arishem was, and everything like that. I didn't like the way they handled the Deviants. I would have preferred the Deviants been handled a different way. But overall, Eternals is not as bad as everyone made it seem at the beginning.
I think it had too many characters. I don't want to do the Eternals review, but you did pay $10. So okay.
Yes, we very, very much appreciate that. Very generous. Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah. The adamantium stuff wasn't something that they planned. They should have put that in the movie and, it would have made it cooler. The Celestials being brought to life in live action was fantastic. And they had a team of heroes with powers. They did.
But I've also said I think that it would have been better handled. This is also during that let's put everything on Disney Plus time, so I don't know why they weren't putting that on Disney Plus. I understand, but also I've said this before and I'm gonna continue to say this because this was the fact of it. I know a lot of people don't agree, but this was the fact of it. This was not during Iger's reign. This was during Chapek's reign. Yes, and this is where he had told a lot of the over at Pixar. That's why we saw the decline in Pixar things over at the Disney studio, over at the Star Wars studios, over at the Marvel studios. The heads need to hands off. Let the creatives make the decision. Kevin Feige and Chloe Zhao were going back and forth on how this film should have looked, how this film should have been made, what should have been this, to where he just had to have his hands off and he had to bend the knee to what Zhao wanted, and you got what you got. Now, guys, tonally, is it beautiful? Yes. Is it, or visually, is it beautiful? Yes. Tonally, it has, it's, I think it's good. But this was also during that time. So you got the film that you got, and are we going to see those characters again? He answers that. So when we get to that part, we'll get more on that.
Will we see Star Fox and Blade again? Yeah. Michael Nemo, making films for the widest possible audiences. Disney will continue failing if they don't fine-tune films for the fans. Downey as Doom ain't it.
And from my understanding, this was what Kevin Feige had said. I want to make sure I get his words correct here. Just to add to Michael Nemo's super again, appreciate that very much.
Widest possible audiences, a dog whistle? Is it saying, we used to try to, women's audiences, black audiences, and we used to try to be that way, but no, the widest. We want them red states. They've got disposable income too. We don't want to turn them off. That's what I hear when I hear widest possible audiences.
On the part where he's talking about Robert Downey Jr., this is also in the Variety quote where he said, Kevin Feige says iconic Marvel characters, and we'll get to this, Tony Stark and Steve Rogers will eventually be recast at one point, and the other major film franchises have done the same. He goes on to say, oh crap, is that not the right one? No, it wasn't my fault. But what he said was expect more Robert Downey Jr. in the future. even after Secret Wars.
Okay.
So I don't know if that is in the capacity of. I mean, he's talking about recasting Iron Man, so I'd assume not Iron Man. Is he going to remain Doom?
I don't know. I gotta see it. I gotta see how a Tony Stark variant plays out as Doom, what they do with the movie, before I judge that. It's not really Doom. You already know it's gonna be some kind of multiverse Doom, but not the real one. Let's see it play out, guys.
And if
And
that's, I mean, well, yeah.
Yes,
We'll see.
Chillmonger. That's what Marvel is doing. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four is the future, as white as can be. Blanco.
All right. What else do you say on Kang? Because he said some more stupid shit.
About the Kang actor. So, because of the Fox acquisition, we finally had it. Read this part already. Robert Downey, he's our greatest actors and utilized one of our greatest characters. Don't expect a live action Miles Morales anytime soon. Thanks a lot, Sony. Bruh, the favors that they're doing during these headlines, shifting all the blame to Sony, just like that.
And the funny thing is, it's the way that they're making it seem, and the way that everybody was making it seem on Twitter. This is why you have to go beyond the headline sometimes and do a little bit more research. People on Twitter, especially the scooper type of news outlet accounts that were putting this out, were saying Marvel told to stay away from Miles Morales. Well, that's not accurate. Sony told Marvel that they would not want them to touch Miles until they have wrapped up the animated saga with him. After that, then I'm assuming live action stuff would be free, because I'm still interpreting this is coming out 2027. Secret Wars comes out 2027. I'm assuming Miles is going to be a part of Secret Wars. So if they don't want them to touch them until the animated stuff pops up, as I've said from my original theory with Beyond the Spider-Verse, when that was the announced title, he's going to break out of animation, I'm assuming here. And we're going to see Miles in live action. So I'm assuming that's when they're going to be like, hey, now free reign.
We get many fans have been for years clamoring for a live action MCU appearance of Miles Morales, who headlined Spider-Verse. When asked where Marvel was in development of a live action version of the character, Kevin Feige responds, "That is nowhere." Okay. Again, I'm going to be repetitive here, but what was the question? Where's Spider-Man? Where's Miles? That is nowhere. Like, I want to know what the question was to know what he's saying that is when he says that. And added that Morales' fate was in Sony's hand. Sony has their brilliant, genius, incredible Spider-Verse animated franchise going on. And until that finishes, we've been told to stay away. They have the rights. You were not being told to stay away. You can't use them. You did not get permission from them. And I feel they shouldn't have the rights. I feel like it's poorly worded contract from like 1999. That is the reason we're in the place we are at now. But still, they have the rights. You were not told to stay away. Like, you could do it if you wanted to, but we're going to respect their wishes. And all right, fine, we'll stay away. That's such a weird thing. Like, you don't want to admit that Sony has power. You small boy, Kevin Feige. I'm getting in your head, Kevin. Why am I not wearing your hat? Quote you. Blade being sharpened again. What's the holdup with Blade? Well, the obstacle was Ryan Coogler called and said, "We'd love some costumes for Sinners." And we said, "Take them, man. He's our good friend. Take our costumes. We'll hold off on the movie," said Feige. Feige was, of course, joking. Fam, the blood boiling before I read that part. Feige was, of course, joking. I was like, oh, I can't wait until Monday to stream. What did he just say? Sinners, they took the costumes? What? Shit. It was a fun experience when I read that the first time. It's a good joke. But again, we had to have been there to hear him, because all I see is quotes, and Kevin Feige said this, and he's joking. Good joke, Kevin. Kevin was joking, connecting Sinners to a version of Blade that was recently being developed, one that was set in a Prohibition era, just like Coogler's original hit earlier this year. Feige confirmed there had been 4 takes of Blade that have been developed over recent times. wasn't it really like 5 or 6? How many screenwriters were hired and fired? 6?
I believe it was like 6 screenwriters that were hired. There was so much around Blade. It got difficult to keep up.
Yeah, don't downplay how many there were. But he confirmed there had been 4, which doesn't mean there wasn't 5. He only confirmed 4 of them. 2 that had been developed in recent times, 2 that were period, and 2 that were not. Marvel has now landed on modern day. And yes, Mahershala Ali is still attached. That, Darius, that's good news. That's confirmation that we're not going to get no movie called The Midnight Suns featuring a Blade, or we're going to get some other lesser actor. We got Mahershala Ali still. He knows he did wrong by this character. And somewhere on that long slate of future movies, there's going to be like 4 in the year 2028. One of those is going to be a Blade movie. That's relief, and that's more reason to say I don't want him to leave. Let his guilt make it so that he creates a Blade movie. Then he can leave. He confirmed a Blade. What else do we want?
Okay. I want you to go to what I just sent you. Go to that real quick. And then I want you to go to this one that I'm going to send you.
Be sure to like the stream as you wait. Mia Goth.
Go to that one after.
Okay.
Blade, can you speak? Fans are very excited to see you making your MCU debut in Blade. Can you speak to any updates on that as far as production and your character in that?
Yeah. Great movie. That's the sense that I get from them, and that feels good. Yeah.
Fans are very.
She was part of the first screenplay and the second in the 1930s, but not the new one. That's what. She's not gonna be in the movie.
Of course not. Now go to what the other video, please, really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Mahershala Ali on the red carpet.
This was a couple weeks ago. That video with Mia Goth was last year, 2 weeks ago.
Got another action movie we're really hoping to see soon. When will you start filming Blade?
Call Marvel. I'm ready. Let them know I'm ready.
Amazing. Got another action.
Published on April 19th, 2025, Delroy Lindo said it went off the rails. Former Blade star explains why he left the MCU. And then if you also go back here, you don't have to show this. I have this already up here. You go back to last year, again, around this time. This was Mahershala Ali's lawyer. The deal was in 2019 that the deal was done in 2019 and they still haven't shot, which is pretty much the craziest thing in my professional experience. If you would like a little perspective, Blade was first announced at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019 alongside a handful of other Marvel projects, including Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Hawkeye, Thor: Love and Fucking Thunder, The Marvels, Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and more. You'll notice that all of those projects have been released, but Blade hasn't started shooting, and we're still talking about how Blade is on production. We've now got who is the writer they've got attached to it now? They've now got
the John Wick guy.
Is it him? I believe so. They've now got the right. I had the article up. They've now got a writer attached and everything like that, and blah blah blah. Him saying, "Contact Marvel, I'm ready," doesn't tell me I'm on board. That just, again, that's like every other vague answer since 2019 Mahershala Ali's given, because for the past 6 years, as of Saturday, because it's 6 years as of Saturday that he was announced as Blade, he hasn't known, like we, the audience, hasn't known. And as you can see and as his lawyer said, since and this is the craziest thing in her professional career that she's ever seen, nobody knows what the fuck's going on. So do I believe him here when he talks about Blade? Do I believe that is Blade gonna pop up in probably some Midnight Suns thing? What did you say he said about it? No Midnight Suns. It's gonna be a solo film.
His quote was, "We landed on a modern day, and yes, Mahershala Ali is still attached." But The only thing that's quoted is landed on a modern day.
Okay, so
I'll share it again. Okay, Kevin Feige, there it is. Landed on a modern day. Then the person who's writing the article says, and yes, Mahershala Ali is still attached. He didn't reveal a timeline for Blade, but did say that he and Coogler have a timeline for Black Panther 3. Do you have a T'Challa for Black Panther 3? That's all I want to know. Because it's dead if it doesn't have T'Challa. And not aging up the T'Challa and saying, this is good enough. Actual T'Challa.
Now, in the same quote, he said the thing about Black Panther.
Because
I see it here.
Because of Ryan Coogler's question, the Ryan Coogler question, remember? Earlier?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I see. And then he said he didn't reveal a timeline for Blade, but says he and Coogler have a timeline for Black Panther 3. Didn't he go into a little bit? Well, not. I guess there wasn't a lot more. He just said that we know when the timeline is, and if he's telling you he doesn't, that's perfect. Okay. On that, say it again.
Actually, you should go.
No. Because actually, what I have to say on that is really nothing until we get to when he starts talking about other characters being recasted.
Am I sharing the Deadline article? Because you can see the timeline here. That there's an untitled Marvel movie for July of 2027. That could easily be the Blade movie. I don't feel like it'll be X-Men. Maybe this February movie will be the X-Men, or it'll be Black Panther 3. Or May will be Black Panther 3 or X-Men.
I bet you that February 18th will probably be Black Panther.
Could be Blade also, right?
It could be. It could be. Now, what did he say on the recasting part? Is that the next section here?
Tonal I think actually Variety has the recasting. I don't think that they have it on this article, but I may be wrong. We'll go to we got time today. Tonal, and thank you everyone for joining us. This is the morning report. We love this. We wait for report for days like this so that we can just basically geek out with you, give our raw opinions, recall certain things from the past because the world has the internet and the internet doesn't forget. Tonal malleability is a key to Marvel's success. Yes, there will be more rated R stories. Deadpool as well as Daredevil have shown Marvel is becoming more and more comfortable with pushing stories that are adult oriented, but its characters can also appear in age appropriate settings when needed. Yeah, Kevin Feige says that you can have the Green Goblin build snowmen in the animated, but he kills Aunt May. Punisher is another example. The violent vigilante played by John Bernthal is the subject of a special that began shooting last week and will air on Disney Plus next year. It's intended to be TVMA, but when Punisher is in the Spider-Man movie, it'll be a different tonality, said Feige, confirming the character is in the next Spidey film. Hey, good confirmation. An actual news item. That's cool. Punisher's in it.
He's in it.
Did you believe it already? Did you need him to say that?
No, I didn't need him to say that. That Marvel can't keep a secret. Nothing that they do or everything they do gets out. So, we knew that.
Yeah, I'm sure at D23 they'll bring John Bernthal on stage and I would have reserved it for then. Hollywood Reporter didn't need that scoop. You want to have like your actor come on stage and everyone goes crazy. So yeah, Stamina says those first two 2028 dates, they could be Black Panther 3. Releasing Blade in spring or summer seems a little odd to me, but I'm not industry, of course.
I agree on the releasing Blade in spring or summer. I could, that's something I would assume, especially because since he said it's going to be modern era, I wonder if it's going to be what, again, that's why I say Marvel can't keep a secret. One, he just confirmed Bernthal. We knew about Bernthal a month ago, I want to say. We've also known that Blade was back on the table, but it was no longer the solo film. It's the ensemble film. So if the ensemble, and they said the ensemble film is that Midnight Suns film, so modern era. So if why he just said modern era, and if I take that with what My Time, Daniel, Alex have all said, and it's going to be that Midnight Suns, well, there you go. That's what it's going to be.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man can't lead a movie by himself. Strongly disagree.
Oh yeah, I disagree.
Didn't Racist Punisher take out all the anti-cop stuff from Daredevil? Then it flopped. I don't know. I don't know what angle that's coming from either, laddie.
I'm not sure. I didn't. The last episode I saw of Daredevil, he killed
White Tiger.
No.
Kingpin. Foggy.
No. Why am I blanking? The main damn villain.
Bullseye.
No, Bullseye wasn't the. Or maybe I'm mistaken on who the main villain was. Who they were advertising. Why am I blanking on his name? Come on, chat. Y'all fucking know. Y'all watched it.
Muse.
Thank you. I don't know why I'm blanking on Muse's name. Yes, on Muse. That was the last episode I watched, so I couldn't say.
Did it feel like homework?
No.
Thank you for getting us. For the Marvel method.
Yeah. I'm sorry because this has been said twice. Yeah, no, I said this in 2023. I said it in 2024. I'm continuing to say it in 2025. Blade as a solo film now, as I said way back then, is not happening. It was never happening. You know, Kevin Feige said when Mahershala Ali knocks on your door and says he wants to play Blade, you give him Blade. Oh, well, you gave him Blade. And we've yet to even see in the 6 years what the man would even look like. No concept art, no nothing of what he would look like. Just a voice. Are you sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitman? That's it. So I've been said there's no Blade. So but thank you. Ben said there's no Blade.
He had so little to say. Darius has memorized all his lines in the MCU. Feige still likes the flexibility of going into production without a set script. Oh boy. The Marvel method of...
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Marvel method of movie making has included ever-evolving scripts and heavy lifting in post-production, striking a contrarian position. Gunn, after working at Marvel, has publicly stated that his DC studios won't begin a project without a locked script and a definite ending. So it's not James Gunn with the contrarian position. It's Kevin Feige with the heavy lifting in post-production, as you so nicely placed it. Going into production without a full script, without a finished script, and with planning to change things like that's terrible planning, which is the problem, which is what the most important thing you need to be is a planner if you're running a cinematic universe, weaving TV and film and specials together. Even comic books now, because if you read the Fantastic Four First Steps, that's all canon to the universe for the Fantastic Four. Feige says, did you want to touch on that with James Gunn and versus Kevin Feige?
That's fine. This part, though.
Feige says Marvel has never started a movie without a full script. Feige has never started a movie without a full script, but also added that he's never been satisfied with the script the company has had. I've never been satisfied with the movie we've released. He even added on top of that, what he and the company like to do is plussing at every turn.
Okay, well, that's a lie detector again determined. Another lie. When you have your next movies, one of the 4 stars of your next movie, who just at the top of the top of last week said, "Oh yeah, we went into Fantastic Four without a full script" in an interview, and you come out and say, "Oh, we've never gone into production without a full script." So again, another lie from
Feige. I love plussing at every turn. I support that. And you're never satisfied with the script because you're always wanting to add more things. I get you want to increase the movie and make it better. You sleep, you fall asleep, you have a dream, and go, wait, that would be great for the movie. I understand that. But and not going into a movie without a full script. I don't know how this man lucked and fell into this. He didn't make it. Remember what CM Punk said to Vince McMahon, like, you're a millionaire, but not a self-made millionaire like you profess. You got here off the works of all these comic book creators. These characters existed, some of them before you were ever born. And you were just the guy who stewarded the popularization of this. They already had fan bases. You did not make this from scratch. You don't deserve the amount of credit that these studio heads probably see you and go, oh, look, he's made this many $1 billion through these 30 movies. He's doing a good job. Bro, I could make that money if I was no. Anyways, he's not self-made. He didn't create this stuff. He gets too much points. He's just the guy in charge of Captain America. Spider-Man was in the Avengers, but you did not invent the Avengers or the Spider-Man. You get it? Like, you're no George Lucas. You're not a creator. You're just the guy who happens to be in charge. Who could manage 2 movies a year? Who can't now? True. Every sub-headline from this article makes Feige sound like a cancer to good filmmaking. I see what you mean, Shill. But pivoted 4 years ago when Kang, Maine, whatever. True. All right, let's keep reading this thing. Oh, we keep plussing at every turn. There's plussing happening every day on the Avengers Doomsday set right now, and it is amazing to watch because what those filmmakers, those actors, both the ones that are playing these characters for the first or second time and the one playing them for the 10th or 12th time are the best in the world at it. And now these characters, I know these characters so well. So if they have an idea, if you want to listen to it and you want to adjust to it and you want to improve it, I wouldn't want to change that. Okay, if I'm an actor, I like that. But read every single line on this paper. We have it for a reason. And if I guess I have to be there to see what the actors are saying we should adjust, and then we can improvise.
Oh, it's not saying what they can adjust or improvise. They're literally writing the script. Because again, if we are to believe what was reported, and I say this every time, we cannot believe these scoopers on some things and pick and choose when we want, oh no, that's not real. Oh, well, that one's real because I want that one to be real. No. Daniel RPK, My Time to Shine, hello, Alex, they all scooped. The script of Doomsday ain't even done. They even say they don't even have a third act figured up for Doomsday currently. So it's not so much of them plussing, like Kevin Feige says, like them adding value to the script. No, they're literally writing the script.
But the example that he's giving here of actors speaking up, I like that. I think Chris Hemsworth knows his character a little bit more.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Imagine if he had more say in some of the Taika Waititi run stuff. People who had certain problems would be okay with certain things. I know that Chadwick Boseman advocated for much. And so, listen to your actors. I'm not upset with this quote if he means what he's talking about here. The guys are acting for the 10th or the 12th time playing the character. Of course you know your character well. Stephen McFeely is writing the script, but Feige revealed that Loki creator Michael Waldron is also helping.
I like that. I mean, Waldron, out of the Rick and Morty people you brought over, seemed to have been the only one that truly kind of understood what was going on, understood the assignment of the multiverse.
Variety are the ones who have the Marvel plans to recast the X-Men and eventually Tony Stark after Avengers Secret Wars. But reboot is a scary word, says Kevin Feige. He's kind of right.
It's not. He used the word reboot when he talked about the Fantastic Four in its early press run, or when it was first announced and things like that. He uses that word. You can look at that quote up. He uses the word reboot because he said this.
He's rebooting the 2015, so he's not rebooting Marvel's. The 2015 Fantastic. That's what he's rebooting.
Whatever. But when you say that the word reboot is scary, and no matter whatever context you use the word reboot, is it not? How is that not scary? Oh, well, we're rebooting a franchise that has never worked ever. Is that not scary?
Yeah, but the scary part of the reboot is rebooting everything from 2008, rebooting all of that and saying it all, going to phase 1 again. That's scary because, damn. We were reliant on the fan base and the history.
I can agree. I agree that we can agree on that. I know what he means on that, but I'm just saying it's still the word reboot. If it's supposed to be scary to you and you're using the word for a franchise that has never worked ever, and you're still rebooting it in a time where the cracks are majorly showing and skepticism you don't really know what your box office is going to be come Friday, reboot in that context would still be scary as fuck to me, but we can get into the
You're right, but Brave New World hadn't come out yet. Thunderbolts hadn't come out yet. The Captain Marvel 2 hadn't flopped yet. These movies that stunk. But by the time he decided to do Fantastic Four, which was a 2020 announcement, he didn't know that we would be in this position. I bet if he knew that those movies would make what they made, that he wouldn't have gone with Fantastic Four. Probably would have gone straight to the X-Men. The all-new X-Men are coming to Marvel Cinematic Universe, and an all-new Tony Stark will eventually join them. In a wide-ranging conversation with the press on Friday, Studios' Kevin Feige confirmed that following 2027's Secret Wars, the company will recast the superpowered mutants for its upcoming X-Men movie, directed by Drake Schreier. Many of the actors who starred in X-Men movies are reprising their roles in Doomsday, including Patrick Stewart, yada, 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 yada. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Grammer appeared as Hank McCoy in a post-credit scene in the Marvels. In future films, however, X-Men characters appear in previous movies will be played by new actors, along with mutants making their big screen debut. Okay, big news story there. We're not going to continue with the same Cyclops with James Marsden. We're not going to continue with Hugh Jackman and everyone, right? It's brand new actors, right? Good. The decision echoes changes in the composition of the Marvel Comics following the 2015 Secret War storyline, which involved multiple timelines collapsing and reconverging, mixing up the characters of the main Marvel timeline in the process. I would have used the word universe and not timeline, but that's just me being a comic head. All right. We're utilizing that story, not just to round out the stories we've been telling post Endgame, just as importantly, and you can look at the Secret Wars comics for where that takes you. It very, very much sets us up for the future, Feige said. Endgame literally was about endgames. Secret Wars is all about beginnings. Does that make you hype?
I mean, I know what Secret Wars is going to be, or supposed to be, so I mean, the concept of seeing that brought to light is exciting, yes. About Endgame being about new beginnings and all that, we'll see.
It didn't land the way that he intended it to land. As much as I love them, they definitely need to let Hugh put his feet up. Yeah. But Feige was also careful not to characterize the changes as a reboot. Instead, the executive said Secret Wars will serve as a reset for the MCU. Reboot is a scary word, he said. Reboot can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset, singular timeline. We're thinking along those lines. Later, he added, X-Men is where that will happen next. Dude, doesn't that confirm like the next movie after Secret Wars, that February movie is X-Men? Isn't that what that sounds like?
I would assume so. I mean, that again, all the scoopers have said that's the next thing after Secret Wars is X-Men.
Yeah, unless Blade happens in that February movie and it's like before Secret Wars happened. This
brother. Blade is not their priority coming out of Secret Wars. If it's not even their priority in the midst of bullshit.
But February is a terrible month for X-Men.
No, it's really not. There's not a month that's a terrible month for X-Men. You can drop the X-Men January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. You wanted to, and people are going to show up if it is looking like it should look. But when you have him talking about the it's not going to be the cast you think it is, well, then it gets rocky.
So here's the quote. Reboot is a scary word. Reboot can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset singular timeline. We're thinking along those lines.
So resetting a singular timeline. So when he says resetting that's resetting the MCU's timeline then.
Yeah, the universe is going to be changed. There's going to be a new normal.
Oh, I see. But okay, so that goes back to what we all know then. That's what I've been saying. You know, okay, so did you already touch on that? Because my damn dog moved my camera. Did we already talk about, did you touch on the recasting of people, RDJ and all that? He hasn't said that yet.
That's the next quote down there.
Okay, well, I'll reserve what I was going to say for that.
So again, with the reset word, fine. I'll start using the word reset instead of saying soft reboot. It's a reset, and we got to see the plot of Secret Wars. We got to see it play out and see how they, after the incursions, how they fix things and everything goes back to normal. oh, there's one timeline or whatever they'll freaking say. It'll be fixed. Molecule Man will repair things. Feige noted that the X-Men comics, with their focus on Xavier's school of gifted youngsters, naturally centered on stories about adolescent characters. They have been a place to tell stories about young people who feel different and who feel other and who feel like they don't belong, he said. That's the universal story of mutants, and that is where we're going. There's nothing wrong with that, except
go ahead.
I hear words. I hear this is going to be an allegory for the gay experience when he says that. Do you?
I just hear it's not, I don't hear that. I hear more of the, now, of course, are they going to be inclusive and adding people and stuff like that? I'm sure you can get to that check mark down the line. But the first thing I hear when he says this is more of the MCU the same, using more characters. Again, when you go all the way back up to that Thunderbolts conversation of why casuals are looking at a Thunderbolts poster and like, who the fuck are these people? If we are to believe the rumors, again, I'm sorry, I'm a rumors leaks person. I follow that shit. If we're to believe them, Kitty Pryde is one of the main ones. You're going to put Kitty on a poster and expect casuals to be like,
yeah,
the X-Men. So when I hear him say that, I'm hearing him say, don't expect to see Wolverine, because we've already heard Wolverine's not going to even be in the main team like that. Maybe don't even expect Storm.
Young people.
Younger, think younger. And the casting that they've been doing, if we're to believe these scoops and rumors too, haven't been for Storm. They've been for Jean, they've been for Scott. So Jean and Scott would be there. But you wouldn't have some of your older mutants there. So that's what I hear.
Even more intriguingly, Feige also indicated that other Marvel characters will eventually be recast, including its most iconic roles like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Where's the quote? He indicated that? Where's the quotes? Did he tell you, hey, yo, that interview part where I talked about Tony and Steve? Take that out. Where is the quote?
Probably. I think Superman. You can use some of that stuff, but not all of it.
There's that Chillmonger guy on YouTube. He's going to use this as ammunition for why we can't have T'Challa back. We can't use the word reboot. We'll start saying reset, but there's no recast.
Yeah, no, they're not. So when he's talking about that goes back up to a little bit there where he was talking about a singular timeline. And I had someone tell me because so this kind of brings us into the recasting talk, not just, well, I'm going to T'Challa. You want to recast Tony, you want to recast Steve, hoorah, I'm right there for you. But I'm talking to T'Challa, who seems to never be mentioned in any of the stuff when they're talking about recasting or anything like that. However, what I was discussing was this here, and I'm going to share this really quickly. Was this here? So on, what was it? Yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I had tweeted this.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was yesterday. On Saturday, rather. I had tweeted this. And because someone had said they need to keep him in the DCEU as Hawkman, which I agree with if, he's not going to come over as T'Challa in the MCU. And the reason I shared this was because I had seen this video before, but I just wanted to share because I didn't know if everybody had seen him talk about this at the NAACPs. But he had kind of made it kind of clear.
He is not hired.
Yeah, he's not in discussions with Marvel. That is fan talk.
Yeah.
Just like with... Now, he could just be saying that just because, it's like one of those things like, hey, this needs to stay under wraps. We're trying to keep on who we're talking, blah, 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 blah. But then you got Damson's out there who seems to be able to talk about it publicly somewhat mildly or whatever. But however, he said it's fan talk and that no one, that it's all love and he appreciates it and all that kind of stuff. And, he had his manager or the producer of Cross or whoever it was that said that they've talked about it quietly behind the scenes and how cool it would be and things like that. And he's publicly even stated that he wants fans to know that the character he wants to play more than anything is Black Panther. T'Challa, and the interviewer specifically says T'Challa. He does not say Black Panther. Yeah, go ahead and listen to that.
Your name has come up in several topics as far as replacing T'Challa in the MCU, as far as Black Panther is concerned. You being an action star and being able to showcase that version of yourself as far as an actor, do you feel like that helps opportunities? We know that as the fan.
Is that Rachel Dolezal? Who's in the background right there?
Being an action star and being.
Huh? Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize. Anyway, he feels he seems like he's like happy to answer this T'Challa question, and then interviewer starts talking about action stars, and he's like, I don't want to answer the T'Challa part.
Able to showcase that version of yourself as far as an actor, do you feel like that helps opportunities? We know that as the fans what you can do, but as far as the studios are concerned, to be able to trust you as the character, to be able to portray that on screen.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll say first, all of that noise that y'all hearing is fan love. You know what I'm saying? So to the fans who have expressed their support for me, you know, in that space, to step into those shoes, I appreciate everybody. You know,
we appreciate you.
But it does mean a lot when you can exhibit all of who you are when it comes to what we do in this job, because oftentimes you have executives who see you one way. Their viewpoint is a bit narrow sometimes, and they get fixated on seeing you as, oh, you're this guy for this thing. All right, cool. Instead of understanding all that you are capable of. So it's on you to continually push and show people and hustle for opportunities where you get to exhibit the full spectrum of your talents and the breadth of your capabilities. So it does help in every little small thing. It could be a commercial. Every little thing helps.
Well, I can definitely see you as T'Challa, by the way. But listen,
thank you, man. Thank you.
Cross season 2 coming fall of 2025. Positive Black representation with a capable lead, with a supporting friend, also the same guy who was the Old Spice guy. I'm on a horse. That guy is he's Isaiah, I think his name was.
Yeah,
I don't remember. But solid TV show. You can watch season 1 on Prime. It is good. He doesn't join a gang or do what Riri Williams was doing. It's just, you'll be happy that you saw it. And it was a good twist on the final episode. Very good twist. Aldous Hodge, support that man.
Yeah, support him there, because you will not be able to support him within the MCU because those conversations are not happening. Now, here's the thing, too, that I want to say. Now, I've been told by you all that have been here and have heard me talk about this before. I've been told by my source that, hey, you be intentional on what you want. Make sure you say that you want Aldous Hodge over Damson Idris. Well, you know, you take it to the NAACPs and things like that and what Aldous is saying. Now, I'm not telling you not to continue to say that you want Aldous. I'm not telling you that. You can continue to say whatever it is you want to tweet because it's your Twitter. What I'm telling you is, and you guys know this, I've said this many, many times, I'm a realist. I look at things as they are. The only person I truly believe that, which is what I was approached with by my source at the beginning last year, at the very beginning of all this, was Damson. And I believe that that is the only person right now that they are having conversations with. Have they had conversations with other people? She dreads me, Tina, one of my friends throughout that I've met through all this. I believe she has touched on that they have met with other people, but that she believes, like the rest of us, that they have landed on Damson, and that is what they're likely going to go with. So with them likely going with Damson, that takes it back to the conversations of the kid and this and that. And even though Feige is talking about, oh, we're going to be recasting core characters, I had someone that told me on Twitter that I was making up the idea of the child, or him playing the child, and then someone said with the soft reboot, he's T'Challa, son of T'Chaka. So that now takes me back up to the singular timeline thing that Kevin Feige mentioned. That does not then mean that, and I want to make this explicitly clear. I don't know this for sure. I don't know this for sure. I don't have any inside scoops. I'm coming to you just like you guys are looking at this stuff and reading it as a fan. I have no inside knowledge. I'm telling you my opinion, and I'm telling you what my eyes are seeing with all the pieces of the puzzle I've put together by doing. Now, when Josh over there says I do this for Marvel, I do this for Recast T'Challa. So I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about I'm putting these pieces together and things like that.
Yeah.
So with what we know about Damson coming in and what I was told and this and that, with that singular timeline conversation, that does not then mean that you are getting a recasted T'Challa. That's not what that means. Okay, so what that means with a singular timeline and a resetting, we've all, for us comic book heads that have read these things, we know how Secret Wars ends. We know that a new world was put together. We know that some characters from other universes were brought in, and those were the characters, and how you get some blah, blah, blah. We all know how it all works. That's exactly how it's going to work here. The Fantastic Four that you do not now have in this universe are going to be in our universe. The X-Men that we do not now have in our universe are going to be brought into our universe. Whatever other heroes we may have cameo in Secret Wars and their universes get destroyed may be coming over into our universe. And some could be saying, well, rebuttal, Darius, could Wakanda not get destroyed and a Black Panther come over into this universe? You could have that. And that is something that I still believe may, and it's a small belief, it's a very small belief, may still be on the table for them. Where you get a T'Challa that comes to this universe. Now that T'Challa is going to be ruler of Wakanda, but then it gets even more convoluted. I mean, you could suspend belief if you want to, and I could suspend my belief because, again, I'm watching mythical shit. So I could suspend my belief and say that, oh yeah, this Wakanda is just going to accept a new T'Challa. This Wakanda Shuri is just going to be like, oh brother, that's good to have you back, and everybody's going to be like, I could, yeah, right. It's ugly. It's gross. Right. I don't like it. I said I could. I said, for the sake of the conversation, I'm just saying I could. I won't, but I could. So with all that you could get another T'Challa, all that kind of stuff. Now, one of the things he said is he mentioned that Ryan Coogler knows the timeline and he knows what we're doing and blah, blah, this. One of the things that has stayed and remained the same throughout every scooper, even through my source and through others, is that child is on the table indefinitely. So what I believe and what I think is happening with the recast stuff, and I don't understand why they just won't recast the character, what neither here nor there, another conversation, is that the kid is going to be what you get. And I believe that Damson is having talks about being that kid. That's the yes, no. That's that character. Now, you would think maybe Damson, would, as I've said in other videos, it would be nice if he'd be like, oh, well, I know that the fans want me to play T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, and, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, once he gets in and he gets to play gets to play T'Challa, and again, I want to make this clear too. In our bubble, in our recast space, we want this. We want this. We deserve this. Just like every other fan. If it was Iron Man or Spider-Man or Captain America or any of the other marquee household name characters, they would not hesitate to recast. It would never be a conversation of, well, let's go with someone else or their son, their nephew. I use this example. We're not getting Dr. Doom's nephew. We're not getting Dr. Doom's niece. We're not getting his son. We're getting Dr. Doom. And if we were getting anything less, these people would be rioting. So we deserve T'Challa. We deserve that. So I'm not saying to stop saying any of those, to stop saying you want the recast or stop saying any of those things. What I'm saying is, I think from what we've seen from all these people with Josh and from his streams, from if you watch John Campia, when he talks about it, he is pro recast, and some of these other things that I've even shown on stream, the masses don't think that. The masses say, you got your recast. We've got the kid. Did you not? Most of the comments always say, did you not see the post-credit scene? Even when the conversation last summer came out, got big about Aldis and them recasting the AI of Aldis came along with the conversation of them possibly recasting when Jeff Snyder said what he said and everybody else said what they said. People in the comments, the masses, were still saying what? We gotta recast. It's the kid. As long as he's playing the kid, I'm okay with that. So what I've been told from my sources, Marvel's paying attention to the conversation. Yeah, they're looking at our conversation, but the overall conversation is not our conversation.
About us. Nah.
So that's where the realism comes in, and I hate it. I don't want to make it seem. I think sometimes when I talk about this, I make it seem like I've settled. I'm not settled. I don't like that. I hate that. That's the thing that deters me and makes me look at what they're doing with Mr. Terrific and what they're doing with other black characters or might do with other black characters in the DCU, to where I can turn my back on the MCU if I want to. As I said, I'm invested since '08. I want to see a story fulfilled in Secret Wars. But after that shit, if I don't like and I don't sense that they're going the direction they should be going with a black character that I feel should be a household name, I can turn my back and go to DC. I don't have to watch a motherfucking thing over here. So pay attention to what's going on in the next few weeks or whatever, months and years until we get to Doomsday and Black Panther 3, which I truly believe, as this person said with the soft reboot, T'Challa, son of T'Chaka's back. No, he's not. No, that's a very bold and just point blank statement to make. No, he's not. You don't know that. I don't know that for sure. But I can tell you the pieces and the signs and that I'm looking at point to a direction that does not point to that, to him coming back. It points to that child. When you got, again, big streamers that like Josh who say that because he had an effect, he believes he had an effect on hashtag super chit being minimized in Superman, and he has an effect on decisions, and they're paying attention and watching him and other big streamers and things like that. When you have big streamers like him saying to 1.4K followers, as long as it's a male T'Challa in the mask and they still call him T'Challa, chat, are we good with that? Is that a W? And when you got W after W after W going in the chat, pay attention. It's pretty crazy. So when he's sitting here talking about recasting, eventually this and eventually that, core characters, I don't know if they consider T'Challa a core character. He might, yeah, he's a character that made them $1.3 billion. And at one point in time, I thought maybe they do consider him a core character. Household name. But the lack of respect and the major disrespect that has been put on him since 2020, and we still don't know what's going on. It's crazy. So we'll see.
Yeah, and time is running out. It used to be, we don't know what they'll do. They've got so much time. Wakanda forever. They could make the movie in the blip. And there's always been these kind of deadlines, and we're able to push back. And push the deadline back. But once Secret Wars happens and the universe is repaired, fixed, there's a brand new normal, and you tell me that T'Challa is older now, that's your T'Challa now? We're not getting no Aldous Hodge. We're not like when our voices aren't being listened. It's TJ, the new BP. Yeah, I'm checked out. I'm not even. I can't. I can't. I think many people in our audience are too. Damn, you guys are on this early.
Yes, this is the morning report. New thing we do. This is week 2 of it, at least. Yeah, Grand Region Threat. I think it's one of your first times being here.
Wake up.
Well, you got Carter Grayson that said after Secret Wars there will be another T'Challa, and again, that's just bold. That's bold, and that's you're coming in, I guess, so hard on like it, and it's like period, stop, period. There's no ... There's no question. It's just period. He's going to be recast, and I would love to know where you're coming with that information. Like, how do you know T'Challa is going to be recasted after Secret Wars? Where are you getting that information to where you can just full stop? He's going to be recasted. Because if you, if you're seeing that from everything, again, that I just laid out from 2020 to now, the disrespect that they've put on, the convoluted mental gymnastics they wanted you to do with X-Men 97 when they tried to make you say, or tried to make you believe that, no. Even in the 90s series, that wasn't him. Even when the creator of that episode, that T'Challa episode came out and said, no, that was T'Challa. I wrote that episode. What evidence points to, oh, he's coming back, they want him back? You forget, as I did not mention as in my first little spill there, Ryan still has a fucking story to tell. And if you think that after $800 million that they look at as a success for Marvel Studios after $1.3 billion of its predecessor, if you think that he's going to look at that and say, fuck that story, I feel different, my friend, I don't feel that same way. I feel different now. Let's get somebody else in here, because he once said in 2022, you could say, well, Darius' feelings could change. We just couldn't see and can't see anybody coming in and being that guy. So if you think that they're going to deviate from the story he told in 2022 to tell a different story, to just what are we going to do? Just the kid, he's just in Haiti, and then we just pick up in modern day, and now there's a new black. You're sadly mistaken.
That's what we're getting. That's the plan. Hashtag recast T'Challa. We've done it. We've done recast T'Challa trending days. We've tried. We've tried to spread the word. Concentrated efforts. We'll continue trying until it's too late to try, and then we cut. But just remember this passion, remember this fire, and remember how the public sentiment isn't where you want it to be for this character to return. That there are still Shade Room or other Instagram outlets comment section lighting up saying, TJ, T'Challa Jr., he's the one. I loved this movie. When he died, it was so awesome. Still debating if I'm paying for first steps.
That's a tough, and it's a tough one. It's tough because I'm invested. I'm going. That's the thing. I'm still invested. As I said before, after Secret Wars, if I feel as if this ship with Black Panther and black characters, because it ain't just Black Panther, I can go down the list. We've gone it before. War Machine, Don Cheadle's show canceled, turned movie, then canceled. Blade never happened. Ironheart got no promotion. They didn't give a fuck about that. T'Challa is dead. Monica Rambeau's show got canceled. Okoye's show got taken off the table. I mean, I want to say, is that the bulk of the black shows? Yeah. Everybody's like, well, stop complaining. We got Brave New World, Captain America.
Did you not hear them say that they're recasting though? Like
yeah, they literally just said
to how Steve Rogers will be back.
Exactly.
The quote specifically, again, it was even more intriguingly, Feige also indicated that other Marvel characters will eventually be recast, including its most iconic roles like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. He pointed to many other film franchises that have done the same thing multiple times over. So when you tell me Sam Wilson, he's Captain America, he was in the movie, like there's some vote of confidence or like there's some future, it's always been what I call it, temporary representation. He was here. They did not uplift the Falcon brand to be on par with Black Panther, Iron Man, Hulk. They made him Captain America to keep that thing warm, and then in comes Steve Rogers with the recast. And after Secret Wars, Steve Rogers gets to return, and down goes Anthony Mackie's character. I'm right. Killmonger's right. You know what?
You're right.
Applies foresight. He can see the pattern from the past to inform the future.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, that is a statement you stand on all the time, the temporary representation. And that is what it is. It's temporary representation. As they stated, Captain America is going to be back. I mean, you look at the poor reception that was Brave New World.
Play this too, since it's kind of relevant to what we were talking about. Kevin Feige on recasting T'Challa.
Chadwick Boseman was an immensely talented actor and an inspirational individual who affected all of our lives professionally and personally. His portrayal of T'Challa the Black Panther is iconic and transcends any iteration of the character in any other medium from Marvel's past. And it's for that reason that we will not recast the character. However, to honor the legacy that Chad helped us build through his portrayal of the King of Wakanda, we want to continue to explore the world of Wakanda.
Why don't they continue to explore the world of Iron or the world of Captains? You know, we're going to continue America. It doesn't work that way. Take every word he said and just apply it to the top black character in the history of cinema. Are we going to act like he didn't say it? Are we going to act like Robert Downey Jr. and Steve Rogers are not immensely talented? That they're iconic? That they transcend any iteration of the characters that we've ever seen in the past? No, we can't act like that, because all of that is true for the Steve Rogers character and for the Tony Stark character. But we're only applying it to T'Challa to gatekeep T'Challa. See, this to block T'Challa, absolutely. We're gonna implement these rules. You know, when you're too great and you do better and you're an inspiration, and when you're this actor who transcends and you're black, you can't use you anymore. That's your character. That's it. But when you're white, we can make you Dr. Doom now. We can use you in Human Torch. You'd be a great cameo for Deadpool. That's the difference here. It's a double standard that's crazy, and it's right in front of my eyes. It's right in front of our faces, the way that they treat T'Challa compared to they treat Steve Rogers and Tony Stark and Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine. They're all being recast.
Exactly. And again, they're going to tell you, and I'm just, I really want to be wrong. I do. But I fear what's going to end up happening is they're going to tell you your recast is, no matter the conversations that E-Man has had with the Russos, no matter the conversations that have been seen with his widow on the podcast that she said, no matter what his brother has said, those things, I don't think they're taking that into account because, again, they don't care. I think what they're taking into account is their recast is going to be the son. That's your recast. And as long as it is a male Panther, that I keep running with that just because that just seems to be the narrative of the casual experience with this. As long as it is a male Black Panther, because I feel like Shuri, they never cared about Shuri to begin with. It was just the argument to rebut the recast crowd at the time of Wakanda Forever. Oh, you're a misogynist. No one's getting called a misogynist in 2025 when you talk about recast T'Challa. If you're still getting called a misogynist, that's crazy. Maybe you are. But in 2025, no one's using that as a rebuttal to the recast crowd. You're not even hearing Shuri as a rebuttal to the recast crowd. So I don't think it was ever a thing about caring about Shuri. As long as they get that male Black Panther, because now you're seeing the tide shifted a little bit, especially when Jeff talked. A lot of people, like we talked about over at New Rockstars, that were so anti recast T'Challa, were then saying, oh, what do you guys think? Let's recast T'Challa, chat, blah, blah, blah. We're now pro recast. So now you have a lot of people that are pro recast T'Challa that are but with that, I think again, is that male conversation where it's like, hey, that's a male face in there. It's a male Black Panther. He's T'Challa. They're not gonna, and in the MCU, it's not gonna be a thing where they're calling him in the mask Toussaint. It's not gonna be in the thing where they're calling him in the mask T'Challa Jr. They're going to call him T'Challa.
New rock stars still have not unbanned the word T'Challa from their comment section. So don't hit me with let's ask our audience, how do you feel? How many times has the Joker been recast too? Well, when Heath Ledger died, he wasn't iconic. He didn't transcend any iteration of the character before. That's why. And
I know Chill's being facetious. But yes, for true. Like how many characters, how many Jokers have we had? I mean, we're going to get a new one with this new DC universe. And we'll have two of them at the same time, actually, because you'll have the one in Reeves's universe, and you're going to have the one in the DC universe. So you'll have two of each Batman character is going to be in each universe.
Oh, yeah. Darius and Chill, what is it about T'Challa? Why are they treating him this way? I don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
Oh no, you said it right. I'll get black to you on that one. There it is. It's I've said this before, and I'll say it again if there's new viewers. It's terrifying to them. Terrifying. The $1.3 billion they love. That doesn't have color. That's green. They see that. That's green. That lines our pockets. Mm-hmm. But when you sit that educated Black man on a throne of an uncolonized nation, of the most technologically advanced nation in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the Galactic Empire, he is proficient in almost every form of martial arts. He has correct me if I'm wrong, 7, 8 PhDs. The man is the protector of his country, and he's an Avenger, and he's badass. The most precious metal in the world can only come from within his nation.
Used to be until adamantium.
Well, yeah, until you change. Well, not only that, Namor and them got vibranium too. I digress.
Oh, damn! Did they make him less special? Yeah.
I digress. So yeah, of course, that's terrifying. And then when you have that coupled with that was fine alone in the comics. It was like, oh, okay, just readers are seeing that. But then when you have the most successful cinematic universe in the world that puts that spotlight of Marvel's first $1.3 billion, and then the Black folks are going to see it in droves. I saw it 16 times in theaters. 16 times, not an exaggeration. 16 times in theaters. I took my basketball team. For those of you that don't know, I coached AAU basketball. I was a part of the Nike Pro Skills program. We took our program and rented out 2 different theaters to have the boys and go see that film. It was a cultural phenomenon. That's terrifying. When you got white kids wanting to dress up as the Black Panther for Halloween, That's terrifying. You got black kids wanting to be T'Challa. That's terrifying. You got I'm sorry, white kids, and you got black kids from Derek Bozeman, his brother, saying in an interview that his nephew or his son that wanted not to be a warrior, not to be the Black Panther, not to be a part of the Dora Milaje, but he wanted to grow up to be a scientist after seeing Black Panther. You got black kids wanting to be scientists and not an athlete, not in the streets, not anything else, not a deadbeat, not any of the other stigmatisms or not stigmatism. Sorry, not any of the other tropes that come with us or stereotypes that come with us. That's terrifying. So that's why they don't want to do it.
And that's why they'll give you this thing so that you get something, but you know what we're not getting is popularizing and elevating T'Challa, the IP, that 59-year-old character. What you're going to do is you're going to age up this thing and invest in this little thing. While he gets older, he'll get a movie, he'll get a second movie, and no matter how much good work happens with that, it's temporary. He'll never exist in a reboot again. Nakia will not have a son in the new movies from 30 years from now when we're doing Black Panther. They'll start over with T'Challa, hopefully, if they even do T'Challa movies. It's a trick. That's what T'Child represents to me, at least. It's a dead end. It's a fake character. It's a depreciating asset rather than an investment, to put it into a real estate terms. Reject the T'Child with your heart, with your soul, with your mind. Let's keep reading some of these things because we've been live for 2 hours and I think we're going to hit that 3-hour mark, probably pass it. I got nowhere to be, by the way. So yeah, we can do this as long as we need to do it.
We haven't got, that's in this too, where he starts talking about DEI and diversity and all that. Is that in this? That's in the Variety quote? Marvel outside your window, all that shit.
F for DEI. That's not in this article, but
okay. We'll pull that up because he talked about Marvel outside your window, DEI, and all that type of shit.
Sorry. White kids dressing up as Black Panther for Halloween. Yeah, a normalized part of the superhero zeitgeist. Well, can't have that. Nah. Here, take his sister. Take hot potato it to Child. Hot potato it to someone else. I don't know. Let's throw in another black superhero like War Machine. They didn't even do that eventually. Okay, to Junior is a token gestured made flesh, kinda. T'Challa is the Batman of Marvel. Yeah, totally. So let's reboot is a scary word. Future films. We're utilizing that story not just to round out the stories we've been telling post Endgame, just as importantly. And you can look at the Secret Wars comics for yeah, we talked about this. But Feige was also careful not to characterize the changes as a reboot. Instead, the executive said Secret Wars will serve as a reset for the MCU. Reboot's a scary word. Reboot can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset, singular timeline. We're thinking along those lines. Later, he added, X-Men is where that will happen next. Feige noted that the X-Men comics, with their focus on Xavier's school, they have been a place to tell stories about young people who feel different and who feel other and who feel like they don't belong. That's the universal story of mutants, and that is where we're going. Okay, young people. Even more intriguingly, Feige also indicated other Marvel characters will eventually be recast, including its most iconic roles like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. He pointed to many other major film franchises that have done the same thing multiple times over. Amy Pascal and David Heyman are now searching for a new James Bond, Feige said, referring to the producers of Amazon MGM's upcoming Bond. David Cornsweat, the new Superman, he was awesome. That will always be the case. Okay. Another complaint that he uses the word that will always be the case. I want to hear what the question was, but they told us it was referring to recasts. So our recasts are normal. That will always be the case. Is that what you're saying, Kevin? Got it. Recast T'Challa. Feige acknowledged that stars who've retired their original MCU roles, like Downey and Chris Evans, have made it difficult to imagine anyone else in their character's shoes. But it isn't an impossible task. Then recast T'Challa. He was so good. He transcended iteration. It was so hard to imagine anyone. He brought so much to the character. Nate Moore said these things. Ryan Coogler says, "Oh, my truth. He's so tied to it. So much of him was in that character. I just can't see it anyways." You just said that no matter how amazing Robert Downey was and how integral to the character it was that Chris Evans was able to do Captain America, it'll be difficult, yeah, but you'll still do it. You are applying a standard that exists only for Black Panther T'Challa that didn't matter for when Harrison Ford came in after William Hurt had died of cancer. Funny, it was the same disease. You are only using it to keep T'Challa off of the screens. The greatest, most impactful, highest grossing, the culture changing, inspirational, aspirational. A character who has led to things like Iyanu that we saw on HBO Max, things like many comic books, many creators, many YouTube channels.
All your Black heroes.
You're going to take that away, but in the same breath, in the same interview where we're talking recast, you actually mention how hard it is and how difficult the quote. Where was it? Feige acknowledged that stars who've retired to their original MCU roles, like Downey and Evans, have made it difficult to imagine anyone else in the character's shoes, but it isn't an impossible task. Then why the fuck is T'Challa an impossible task, Evan?
And see, that's that point there when he says, it looks like it'd be hard. And no disrespect, my brothers and sisters in this chat, no disrespect to Chad at all. I love Chad. I love Chad more in other roles. I love him in the Black Panther role. My thing is, I would put that standard on Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. before I'd put it on Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman. It's hard to imagine somebody else as Robert Downey as Iron Man. Could I do it? Can I have somebody? Yes, of course. It's film. I have many people come in and play these characters, but that's a tough one. That's one. It's like, damn, he is Iron Man.
We said that about Jack Nicholson. Heath Ledger did great.
Exactly. And I was one of them. I remember when Dark Knight came out, I criticized the casting of Heath Ledger. I criticized the very first poster that we saw, the Why So Serious with him blurred in the back. I mean, like a lot of people, we were all critics, but then we sat down in 2008 and watched him get on screen and perform as the Joker. And to this day, there's been others. Joaquin is great in the first one, but I mean, Heath is in an untouchable spot still.
Just keep comparing it to Batman because Kevin Conroy voiced it and he's killing it as Batman. Michael Keaton did a great job. I didn't mind how Ben Affleck did Batman. You have to afford the T'Challa character to be treated with equality, just like the popular white characters, unless you don't want to get him popular. And that's another conversation. Marvel and Coogler think that because Chadwick died, so did the Black Panther. It's like they both died together in Marvel's eyes, yeah. Especially since we got T'Challa for such a short time. Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix both did a good job. See how we can have multiple actors interpret a character?
And have the conversation, too. And be able to have the conversation. We are able to have a conversation about Joaquin and Heath and talk about the differences in how they portrayed them. Same with Spider-Man, Andrew, Toby, Tom, how they portray them differently. Can't do that with T'Challa. It stops at Chad.
Like that honors him, as if he is a selfish diva who just would love the idea if we could resurrect him right now and be like, yo, Chad, you were dead for 6 years. And then what they did was they killed the character and no one else gets to play him. Like it? Oh my God, I'm so honored. Like that's the reality. Like that's not who he is. You're robbing him of doing the things that Christopher Reeve gets to be, which is that progenitor of the great character. Someone we can thank. We wouldn't have Superman the way it is if it wasn't for that actor. We don't have that for T'Challa, and we're robbing Chadwick Boseman of that praise, of that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to his family members. I should find that clip actually of Derek Boseman since we keep bringing it up. But I'll play this clip instead.
I've been boozy since I left. I ain't changing for a chick. Tell my mom I ain't forget.
Appreciate the $4.99.
Thank you very much.
Blend content.
Andre said, chill, how many minutes was Chad on screen? Wasn't it 103, 104?
Sounds right.
Like
my mind says 104.
Yeah, I think it was 104. 104 minutes. We had another super, didn't we?
Big bank, tight, low bank. Big bank, take little bank. Type of money you gon' need to sight.
Why does it feel like Ryan Gosling actually said that? Michael, why hasn't DC said that they're fast tracking a Mr. Terrific film, given his reception from a film not about him? Same reason. Terror makes me sad. Same reason. Terror.
He's asking same reason as of Marvel is, are they terrified? Does it terrify them? I don't think so with DC. The only reason I say that is because James has come out in recent and talked about a Mr. Terrific HBO Max series, which I agree would be the better approach coming out of Superman than going to a film. I think you go to a film for Mr. Terrific, I don't know that it would have that same boom. If Superman, the name alone, is not pulling in that draw like it should be, I don't know that Mr. Terrific from Superman would be a box office success. So I think you go with that HBO Max series first. And then once we see him in more ensemble stuff, and because we'll see him in the Justice League stuff again, then of course, as the DCU gets bigger, give him a film if it warrants it.
I can also add that if you look at the Lex Luger, I'm sorry, my brain, okay. If you look at the Lanterns thing, he decided to make the young version of, John Stewart, and then the older version, Kyle Chandler, is playing Hal Jordan. He's intended already to make the premier Green Lantern John Stewart. I don't think there's a race issue there with with James Gunn. I think he's.
I don't either.
We need more. It took 18 movies to get to the first black movie in Marvel. Let's see how many it takes to get to DC, and then we can start pointing a finger at him. He does have a little bit of grace and wiggle room, and so far so good. So I'm not. When we say DC and when we say Marvel, we should be more specific. Kevin Feige with 3 Ks is who I'm talking about here, because he's just got a pattern that he earned each and every one of those Ks. But James with Jonathan Majors, with Blade, with Riri Williams being a criminal, and just, let's greenlight that script. She's over here stealing or doing people's homework for money. It's disgusting, and I think he's got Ryan Coogler as a shield to protect him from a lot of the criticisms. And so long as Ryan will pose for him in photos and stuff, he feels like he's got that shield. I don't know about that one. Thank you, Michael, as always. Let's wait. One more. Stamina says, the thing I don't like about the TV show idea is that it separates him from the main focal characters of the universe. It gives viewers opportunity to say, this ain't for us, or just not watch it. HBO doesn't have that problem. Lanterns, it's probably going to do really good, like Penguin did really good.
Yeah,
let's just wait. And yeah, Mr. Terrific would be great in a series. Mr. Terrific could also be a movie. Let's not put a ceiling on the dude, right? He can still be in a movie. Feige acknowledged stars over. Yeah. It isn't an impossible task. He says, I think it's hard for anybody to do that when an actor's done such a great role. How are they gonna ever replace Sean Connery as James Bond, right? Fuck you. At least 2 legacy actors may still yet appear in the MCU as well. Asked about his plans for a follow-up to the blockbuster Deadpool Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, Feige, in typical fashion, made no definitive statements, but also did not close off any possibilities. I think there is more fun to be had with both of these characters, but we'll see where. Yeah, he can't give away plot, so I get that answer. It'll be more fun. Yeah, and he doesn't want to confirm there's going to be a big death of Wolverine at the next Secret Wars. He doesn't want to do anything, so good answer.
Yeah. He like I said, that article, the whole thing, there's a lot of, there's some things, obviously the last half of it there talking about Deadpool Wolverine. Sure, that's nothing you can really touch on there outside of, I'm sure we'll see them in Doomsday or Secret Wars. But the other stuff there, a lot of ass covering and lies. And then, like I said, I think a lot of people have sifted through that online. I see a lot of people, especially on the Jonathan Majors conversation, retweeting that in Majors' favor. Even even though on Twitter there are still dumbass people that are still running with the rhetoric that he is a womanizer and this and this and that and blah 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 blah. What I've seen since this is more so in the favor of no, that's not what the plan was, or why is he lying about Kang and da 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 da. So yeah, the whole article.
You gotta love the part. I think it's hard for anybody to do that when an actor has done such a great role. How are they ever going to replace Sean Connery and James Bond, right? How? Yeah, it's just, how do you do it, bro? How do you do it?
Right. So again, that kind of leans toward, even though Feige wasn't one of the ones in the room with Nate Moore and Kevin and Ryan Coogler when they made the decision, it kind of lets you know where he kind of stood on it, though. No. When they made the decision, didn't they let them make that decision? Now, he might have been in the room. I don't know if he was in the room or not, but let me put it this way. As far as him having an input, he says he didn't have an input. Ryan and Nate say that they were the two that, they told Marvel and Disney told them to make the decision themselves, and that's what they came up with. However, if that is true, or not if that is true, but what Kevin Feige just said about how are you ever going to do this? How are you get somebody else to kind of let you know where he is on the fence on it? He's on the side of not recasting. So even when he said, it was just too soon in 2022, 2023, early 2023, late 2022, when he said that,
Marvel screwed Majors over. I don't like it at all. Evil Mouse screwed over Jonathan and John Boyega. They did Majors dirty. They kept Namor, who had worse allegations against him. Yeah, Tenant Quarto didn't go to court and have the verdict. That's what they waited for with Jonathan Majors. It was the verdict, and then just they did what they did with him. Here's Ringerverse from 2021.
What are the chances we see the character of T'Challa in the MCU moving forward? And what is it like having to balance loyalty to a fan base and to a performer as regal and elegant as Chadwick Boseman,
like James Bond,
along with the future of that franchise, that character, and of
how do we move after Sean Connery?
It's a great question. I will say the chances that you see T'Challa in I'm not hedging my bets. I'm being quite honest. T'Challa you will not see T'Challa in the MCU 616 universe. We couldn't do it. I mean, I will say when Chad passed, it was a real conversation we had with Coogler about what do we do, and it was a fast conversation. It wasn't weeks; it was minutes of we have to figure out how to move this franchise on without that character.
Emotional.
Because I think we all feel so much of T'Challa in the MCU on the screen, not in comics, right? Is tied to Chadwick's performance. Is what he brought to that role, both on and off screen, I would argue. So as hard as it is narratively to figure out what to do, because it's a big hole, at no point did we consider recasting him. So the challenge for Black Panther Wakanda Forever is telling a story without T'Challa.
Why?
And I think it's a challenge we're up for, and obviously we're in the middle of it, and we're figuring it out. And it's so far, I think what we're getting is great. But the challenge of the movie, I think, is to entertain people. But there will be a level of, I think, catharsis in people coming back to this universe without that guy, because that guy and that universe, to me, are one and the same. So as filmmakers and storytellers, you have to figure out how people are going to feel going into your movie and what you want that movie to say about that guy who's not going to be in your movie.
Yeah, but Sean Connery is one of the same with James Bond, right? Isn't that like he was belittling that mindset of attaching actor to character just today? That was yesterday in the article. Kevin Feige was belittling that, but here's Nate Moore explaining that we had a quick conversation with Coogler. When he says we, I think he means Kevin Feige's there too, and everything about Sean Connery is out the window there. We have internet, bro. We got the receipts. We have our memory. We are not foolish. We know what it's like to be lied to. We know what it's like when it's not fair, when it's unequal. Lying ass Nate Moore, glad he's gone. So the main Marvel universe will have T'Challa's son as Black Panther. I don't know. He called it Earth 616. Sometimes they call it timelines. It's a new normal after Secret Wars. Nothing needs to be the same. Literally creating universes in this movie. So at the end of the movie, T'Challa can be back. It's just, will they do it? One name, Christopher Reeve. It's both the lying and gaslighting. We have the clips. They exist. You can go to hear Ryan Coogler talk about his truth. Should we do that? Is that worth going to right now? That no one else can play it? You could go listen to episode 1 of the Wakanda Forever podcast, where Coates is interviewing Coogler, and they say that these quotes exist. And the Variety article, the first one that we went through, we'll go through the second one now, just so that we make sure we hit everything. Some might repeat what we read from Hollywood Reporter, but we'll go through the second one now. I didn't even share the screen. Did you want to share something? I see you moving on the left. No?
No.
Kevin Feige on Marvel Studios' future, focusing on lower budgets, less TV, more Robert Downey Jr. Look at Superman. It's clearly not superhero fatigue. And yes, this was on July 20. This was from yesterday. This is the second one that Variety has made. Angela, wait, let me get the view right. Hold on. Can we get the words on the left so that we're on the right? Fudge. All right, we'll do it this way. Angela left you in here as a test to see who would try to break the lock there. Kevin Feige was teasing a small group of journalists, including from Variety, while sitting at one end of the most storied conference rooms in Hollywood. Can we just skip to the article? Here. It's traditionally a 5-year plan, he said. I think it goes to 2032 right now. Bam. He's got a plan to 2032. There's 4 movies in 2028. There could be 3 or 4 movies in 9, 30, 31, and 32. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's like, he could leave after this 2 years, but all those movies are going to be in production. And his stupid ideas, his stupid decision making, his judgment is so poor that I'm kind of worried. Though it hasn't been quite 7 years since he last did this, it's still rare for Feige giving interviews of this length and candor. But after some ice-breaking small talk in which Marvel's chief creative officer shared his thoughts on DC Studio Superman, more on that in a bit, Feige made clear why he's spending the Friday before the premiere of Fantastic Four First Steps, the 37th film, speaking on the record. We produced 50 hours of stories between 2007 and 2019, Feige said. But in the 6 years since Endgame concluded the Infinity Saga, we've had well over 100 hours of stories in half the time. That's too much. In fact, including animation, Marvel's multiverse saga spans 127 hours of content. After Endgame, Feige said the company entered into a period of experimentation and evolution of the kinds of movies it was making, leading to projects like Eternals and Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings. I've always thought if you take success and don't experiment with it and don't risk with it, it's not worth it, he said. What we also ended up focusing on because of Disney Plus was expansion. And it's that expansion that I think led people to say, it used to be fun, but now I have to know everything about all of these. What I see is spin. What I see is, while he won't take accountability for his terrible decisions for the quality of the marketing for Eternals and Shang-Chi, I'll give him that China wasn't there for Shang-Chi, so it might have done well with the China. It says, the fact that he says that I've always thought if you take success and don't experiment with it and don't risk with it, then it's not worth it. That is crazily, and he's not going to get challenged on this. It's crazily dismissive. It's just, oh yeah, I'm calling it experiments. Yeah, that's what happens. Experiments, sometimes they fail, sometimes they succeed, and that's what I'll call it. I never thought oh, this would be the greatest thing ever. This would be the best plan. It was always a reach. It was always no, man, don't give me that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but it goes. I mean, like I said earlier, it goes back to that whole thing of the when he talked about it expanding, people talking about homework. It goes back to that homework conversation. That's not what it was.
The budgets were not experimental budgets either. You gave them full ass budgets. Consequently, Feige believed the well-documented problems Marvel's been facing over the last few years stem from an overabundance of supply and not a sudden drop in demand. Look at Superman, he said. As the hit film, which opened 125 domestically, grossed 407 globally. It's clearly not superhero fatigue, right? I liked it a lot. Feige added to the DC film. I love you. Just jump right into it. You don't know who Mr. Terrific is? Tough. You'll figure it out. This is a fully fleshed out world. Feige explained that Disney's CEO Bob Iger has also said more than once, Marvel's dramatic increase in volume spread Marvel far too thin for its relatively small team of executives to keep up. Then hire more executives. Just plan. Right? It's easy as that. For the first time ever, quantity trumped quality, Feige said. We spent 12 years working on the Infinity Saga, saying that's never going to happen to us. We always had more characters than we could possibly make because we weren't going to make a movie a month. Suddenly, there's a mandate to make more, and we go, well, we do have more. Starting in 2023, audiences began to sour on Marvel's content on the big and small screen, as Variety reported. Only 3 of the 22 films in the Infinity Saga grossed less than $500 million. Since the pandemic, however, 7 out of the 13 movies in the MCU have failed to reach that milestone. Viewership for Marvel streaming shows, meanwhile, has also steadily declined. According to data from Luminate, most recently Thunderbolts, which earned some of the best reviews, has only grossed $380 million. Thunderbolts, I thought, was very, very good movie, Feige said, but nobody knew that title, and many of those characters were from a TV show. Some audiences were still feeling the notion of, I guess I had to have seen those other shows to understand who this is. If you actually saw the movie, that wouldn't be the case. And we make the movie, so that's not the case. But I think we still have to make sure audiences understand that. To that end, Feige spent an hour discussing everything from budgets, TV schedules, and when Marvel greenlights a project to when or if audiences could see Miles Morales, Ms. Marvel, Charlize Theron again. What was her character? Clea? He also provided an update on the status of Blade. There will be a lot less TV. I think we covered this already, actually, with Daredevil.
Yeah, most of this stuff that he's recovering or that they put in this article, I don't know if they did this just to put something else out there, but
this is a new quote. I think allowing a TV show to be a TV show is what we're returning to, he said, asked if the events at the end of Thunderbolts, when most of the population of Manhattan was enveloped in an inky black shroud of depressive nothingness, would affect season 2 of the NYC-based series Daredevil. Feige had a simple answer. No. That's a problem, though. That's a problem. You have in comic books group editors who go, all right, good, you're doing something in New York, good to know. I need to know that so that I can at least reference it in my movie that I'm doing, in my TV show that's happening in New York City. That's an issue. You're in charge of a cinematic universe where things happen in the same world. That's the appeal.
yeah, I guess because I didn't finish Daredevil because it was not what I expected it to be. I didn't know. Daredevil season 2 takes place before Brave New World and Thunderbolts.
Okay.
So therefore, you then don't have the Sentry event nor the Red Hulk event.
While that explains why those won't happen and we won't get those references, it's also an easy way to not have to do work. Like, it's lazy. I'm for the cinematic universe that when the movie happens, it's not, oh, well, but this actually happened before. That's why they don't mention it. I want everything to be in order. I want the work to be done. This plan. It's not hard to ask for plans. I'm not demanding too much. He says, I think allowing a TV show to be a TV show. At the same time, the line between film and TV is not ironclad. John Bernthal will play his character in Daredevil and in Spider-Man. Where we have great actors playing great characters, I think it would be fun to see them multiple places, but the output will be much less. The reduction also meant that 2 of TV projects were held for over a year, Ironheart and Wonder Man. What do these have in common? They both have a ceiling. I don't like when things sit on the shelves, he said. It stinks. The delay especially affected Wonder Man, which follows an aspiring actor, Abdul Mateen, with hidden superpowers as he strives to land a role on a TV series playing a superhero. Feige, who was wearing a Wonder Man baseball cap, pointed that Marvel made the show before HBO Max's 2024 comic book movie Send Up, the franchise, or Apple TV's Hollywood satire, The Studio. But now it looks like they're following a trend instead of leading it. Oh boy, here we go. Diversity still matters, but don't expect to see Miles Morales. I like the headline. Since the success of 2018's Black Panther, Marvel has made a concentrated effort to produce projects centered around women, people of color, LGBTQ characters. Those titles included Captain Marvel, Widow, Shang-Chi, Cavill, and all that. Several of these projects have been successful, but many have not, commercially or critically. More to the point, with Marvel's decision to dramatically reduce its output, it's been unclear what kind of future many of these characters even have in the MCU, if any at all. Before he even answers this to everybody, Donald Trump has made it very clear that companies who lean towards, if you're not a white dude, they're going to be penalized, or they'll be like grilled or audited or checked out strongly. So the answer that Kevin Feige is about to be is going to be very conscious of that. Pressed on this question, Feige appeared unconcerned. Marvel represents the world outside your window. I've always said it, before DEI and woke became a thing, and after DEI and woke became a thing. Chillmonger would like to speak to the camera today. Kevin? Hey, it's Chillmonger. In your world, woke became a thing maybe 2021, 2020, around talks of conversations of politically correctness, around the talks of just using it as a projectile, using it as a slur for people who are upset with something new. It's been a thing for years. Colloquially, I've heard this word being used for years and years, since I was a young lad. Woke is being social, is being aware, is being conscious of themes of racial injustice. It's being aware, it's being not asleep to these things, but to have an alert understanding of something that's anti-black. That is what woke means. That's what woke meant. That's what woke means today. And to participate in the co-opting of the word is to enforce and is to bolster up the wrong way of using it. Woke was always a thing. Kevin lying. Yep, it's been hijacked. I will continue using the word woke correctly. We good?
Oh yeah. Off topic. Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away.
Theo Huxtable?
He did in a swimming accident. Drowned. Very sad. That's crazy. 54. That is crazy. Yeah, most of the things that he was saying and the rest, yeah, everybody that's in the chat saying what? Yes, it is. I guess this is breaking news. Looking at it here, TMZ reports it. Passed away 54. Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show in a drowning accident, swimming accident. So that's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
Actually, I don't even want to
prayers
talk.
to his family. Prayers to his family. But the rest of the things that he was saying in there, the DEI stuff, the stuff there, most of it, like I said, they covered in that first one. But Marvel outside your window and all that.
He's saying that's what we are as Marvel, but It's not true in the comic books, and it's not true on TV and movies, because the comic books have the best writers and the best creators. Artists get, it's the white creators, it's the white guys, and they write the white characters. The top selling ones happen to always be top selling because they never like take a Jonathan Hickman and say, "You're writing the ongoing Black Panther series, go." So, and then it's also not true in the in the movie sense, because again, it took 18 movies for a lead to be Black Panther. So don't tell me it's the world outside our window because we fill out supporting character roles with diversity. Like, don't tell me that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, Feige talked a lot this week. I feel like most of the big bullet points that he discussed or went into, we did touch on. The recasting, Jonathan Majors, the lying about Blade, a lot of that stuff we touched on with him. And then, of course, the Ryan Coogler stuff, Miles, all of that. Is there anything else involving with Kevin Feige that you wanted to touch on with his stuff?
Mentioned the Marvels. Can't wait to see her somewhere. He doesn't say anything about the Young Avengers. Feige danced around the question about Young Avengers as a film, TV series, or a special is on the horizon because he hasn't decided. Potentially, he says. In that case, it comes down to where's... Well, wait. Time out. You can't tell me potentially because the Captain Marvel movie had a post-credit scene where he's talking, where Kamala is trying to recruit Kate Bishop. So you're exposing just how poorly you're planning. Like, that can happen. Young Avengers can be teased, but it won't actually happen. In that case, it comes down to where's the best story, and where's the best strange alchemy, who would be fun to see with them with each other, because that's what the Young Avengers are, but are also mixing it up more. Crazy, right? It's crazy just how, like, when we peel back, we can just see how unconfirmed a lot of this stuff is. Marvel Method. I think we read this stuff.
And the way he just nonchalantly talks about the post-credit scenes and seeing the characters again that we may or may not see. One of the things I'm not even taking it back to recast, but this is what he said here. He said Kevin Feige on how the MCU will follow the multiverse saga post-credit scenes. It's about finding what's right in the moment. Some maybe we'll see again. Some maybe we'll see soon. Some maybe will be like Tim Blake Nelson, 17 years in between. Who knows? That just, again, to put it like that, to be like 17 years in between. You don't know who's going to be here 17 years. You know who's going to be here next year. Talking about, some maybe like, maybe you won't see Hercules for 17 years. Maybe you won't see Star Fox for 17 years. The way they're going with Blade, maybe be 17 years for Blade before you actually see him. Who knows? That's the way Kevin Feige looks at it. Who knows? Yeah. But on Kevin Feige stuff, on Marvel stuff, anything else from them?
Just skimming through it. Sorry, wrong one. Skimming through this. I know there are filmmakers. James, in my experience, isn't one of them. Maybe he is now, who say, if you want to be a part of my movie, you just say the words and you stay here the entire schedule in case we need you. We have so many actors, we can do that. We can't do that. We don't do that. We give people a window. We keep to that window. Yeah. Even when the main actor dies, right? Wakanda forever. Feeling the need to deliver a certain level of spectacle. I think it's the same shit. It's the same shit. Like we know this about his opinion on this stuff. Yeah. Oh, it's been upwards to a third cheaper than they were 2 years before that. Feige said Marvel executives even met with the teams behind the 2023 sci-fi epic The Creator. That's the John David Washington movie. Director Garth Edwards made for a staggeringly low $80 million to learn how they pulled it off. I think everybody's in a state of mind, at least at Disney, Feige said, of the belts tightening. I think it has to get better. Is AI going to do that? I don't know. Oh, terrible quote again. because he doesn't want to have to pay people. He can just use regenerative AI. Anyways, terrible quote. Like, he just looks bad coming off of this interview time after time. Yeah, answer after answer, topic after topic. It's just, damn, you don't know what's going on, and you have this imaginary standard for the T'Challa character that you don't have for the white ones.
Indeed. Yep. I mean, we all knew where Kevin Feige stood on most of this stuff, so that's it.
Manage your budgets, Kevin.
Now, before we get out of Marvel, the Fantastic Four does come out Thursday. It is the last week, a few days before the film comes out Friday. Early showings are Thursday, but last few days before it comes out, and they put out a few other things, just another clip, and then they also said that, which we kind of already knew, again from Scoopers, that the Russos did indeed do the post-credit scenes with Matt Shackman, I guess, for the for Doomsday and Fantastic Four. So that's coming up. That's what Feige said in regards to Marvel. And we'll see what comes of all of this. Like I said, the next thing is Fantastic Four. I don't think they really have anything really to worry about up until Secret Wars. I mean, Fantastic Four, we'll see exactly what it does. We know what Spider-Man's going to do. And then you got 2 Avengers films. We'll see what those do. But outside of that, again, both presidents did do interviews this weekend. James Gunn's was overshadowed by Kevin Feige's, but he did still drop some knowledge and say some things for the DCU. If you want to hear this, actually, I was just going to do some of them, but if you want to go to this.
Which quote from Gunn?
Which quote from him?
Yeah. Go to what?
Go to what I just sent you.
The whole interview?
No, there's certain ones. Josh has it keyed in down there at the bottom that you can click through. You can do letting Henry Cavill go.
That's dual action formula.
Sponsored by
There are
Romax.
some really interesting.
Where am I going to? You said
be 1549.
Then jumping ahead, I just want to get my timeline down right, because I was somewhat in the middle of this in a weird way, because I talked to Henry Cavill in the middle of when Black Adam's coming out.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. And we love Henry, of course. And
yes, he's the sweetest guy.
Sweet guy. Love him. And he has the cameo at the end. We had a big moment on stage where he thought he was coming back. We all thought he was coming back, but maybe unbeknownst to him or not, you're already writing a Superman movie, which is clearly for a younger actor. Then soon thereafter, you get the gig as the head of DCU, correct? I had this roughly right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, correct.
So then at a certain point, you and Peter have to have that unfortunate phone call, I would imagine.
No, we sat down with him. We sat down with Henry.
So without revealing too much, I mean, what is that like to have to be the guy to tell Superman, thank you for your time, we have to go a different way now?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but believe it or not, I was the day we were dealing with trying to figure out if we could take the job at DC Studios, and we're talking to David Zaslav and all the legal people there and figuring out what our deals would be. And the day our deal closed, all of a sudden they were announcing that, that Henry was back, and I'm like, what is going on? We know what the plan is. Like we know what the plan is. The plan was to come in and do Superman.
Yeah.
So it was really unfair to him, and it was a total bummer. But there was a vacuum at the time, and a lot of people were trying to be as
diplomatic as possible.
There were
other people that had to take on what they wanted to do with it.
They wanted to take on what they wanted to do with DC and were trying to force their way, and it just was never a part of the equation for David Zaslav, who was the head of WBD. So, so we came in, and that was really unfortunate. I'm like, this poor guy. And so Peter and I, the right thing to do is to sit down with him and talk to him. And we sat down, we talked to him. He was an absolute gentleman, a great guy about it. He said, the only thing I ask is that I'm able to reveal it myself as opposed to it coming from you guys. I'm like, that's
no, he's a class act. Always has been from the start. Would it be too confusing to cast him in your DC universe going forward?
As another character?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, I talked to him about it on that day. So I would love to put Henry in something. Yeah.
Happy, sad, confused Josh Horowitz.
Yeah, Josh gets good interviews. That's one of the things he said in there, obviously the letting go of Henry. He threw some shade in another part of there at The Rock and all that whole thing. But talking about bringing Cavill back, which he already said initially, but he also said that Crisis is not the event they're building to. He said that the event they're building to is going to be revealed in Peacemaker Season 2, so it's more of a reason that audiences have to watch Peacemaker Season 2, or you can just read about it. But Peacemaker Season 2 is, I guess, supposed to be where it's revealed what event they're moving to and all that kind of stuff. But it's not Crisis. So Henry supposedly, I thought originally when he had the conversation with them, he said he wanted Henry back as a multiversal version of Superman in Crisis, but I guess they're not moving to Crisis anymore. So a different character, as he stated, a different character. Yeah, sure, I'd love that because it wouldn't be Superman. He also talked about.
Let's stay here. This was utter BS because Henry Cavill did the video presentation. I'm back, guys. I've been there. Don't tell me David Zaslav didn't know about it, and don't try throwing this on The Rock. The Rock wanted to do things. No. Zaslav had no idea what he was doing. Why would you promise the Henry Cavill thing? If it wasn't Zaslav, it was Walter Amada. I think Zaslav knew. Why would you try to run and say this was The Rock who did it? Like, you're trying to protect your boss for his non-understanding of what DC is, of what Superman is, where you can just say, yeah, Henry Cavill, you're it. Oh, you're not it, because James Gunn was writing a script for Superman before the Black Adam movie, before he was the DC Studios president. Is that what we're led to believe here? That he would be writing a script before he gets the job. Why would you lie like that? Why would you say something like that? I just don't believe that you're in the middle of writing a script before you were offered the position officially, before you were actually the president of the studio. You get it?
I kind of believed him that he was writing the script before. And the only reason I believe, because he said that in past interviews, and even before this interview, he said that he was approached by DC to do Superman when he did
Suicide Squad.
When he did Suicide Squad, right. But he also said they came back to him again with Superman. So he said that he was in a different position, blah, 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 blah. That's why he started writing Superman.
Then why is Henry Cavill going? Sorry to interrupt you, but why is Henry Cavill now doing videos and going?
I agree. Why is he? I mean, that was the big thing around that time, was why was Henry Cavill promised this? Yeah, did the video on Instagram, after he showed up in Black Adam. I mean, I remember, again, this was during that very, very fractured, I want to say DCEU was always fractured, but during that very, very fractured DCEU time, I saw Black Adam with like maybe 20 other people in an IMAX theater, and when he came on the screen, the theater collectively stood and clapped. So I don't know why he was announced just to that same weekend of Black Adam, just to be told. I think we were told that next week. Psych.
So don't tiptoe around. I don't want to be. Oh, I gotta protect my words. Watch what I say. You're protecting Zaslav for that dumb decision. For that, giving him the green light for Henry Cavill to say I'm back. It's crazy. And don't go after The Rock. I'm not here to protect The Rock because I'm a fan of The Rock. I just think it's wrong for you to try to, without saying The Rock, to make us all think about The Rock.
Right. I agree. Shifting the blame to The Rock. I agree.
Weasel.
He also talked about Jor-Els' message. I know a lot of people were saying that they think, even Marcus said he thinks and hopes that that message is fake. I mean, I don't know how much more explicit it could have gotten made in the film. Spoilers, if you haven't seen Superman, it could have been in the film that is the message. That is what he meant. That is it. And James Gunn even goes deeper and triples down on that here.
Is it real? Has it been doctored? Is that the actual
How
message?
can someone not think it's real?
I'm just saying.
How can someone? I don't understand. Like, we did this. So in the test screens, people were like, is it real? You know, with AI, nobody trusts anything. Okay. In the movie,
you make a point of saying Mr. Terrific says it's real.
Mr. Terrific says, I know those computer forensics guys. There's no way. That's Mr. Terrific. Smartest guy.
No, don't tell me Mr. Terrific is the smartest guy. Mr. Terrific gave an opinion based off of people who he thought couldn't be bought and paid off. So we're not ridiculous for not trusting it.
That's actually not true. I just rewatched Superman this past weekend. Mr. Terrific does say exactly what James. I mean, it's his movie. Of course, he knows what this actor said. So yeah, he says, "I know those guys. There's no way they could have gotten that wrong."
But that doesn't. If Mr. Terrific read the words and told us it's real, I'll trust in Mr. Terrific. If Mr. Terrific is just trusting that these guys are legitimate, I still don't take that. Like, because those guys, those translator experts, could be bought, could be threatened by Lex Luthor to say this so that or your family dies. So that's why it's not strong enough for me.
Okay, well then take it from James, the creator, the guy that's not in the movie. He says it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Maury, the Secretary of Defense, say, I think whatever you think about Luthor, but it's real.
Secretary of Defense is a politician. Politicians lie to us all the time. False flags is a thing.
And then the clincher is that Gurkos and Lex are walking together.
Right.
And, Gurkos says, you doctored a message. This is great. And Lex says, it's not a message. It's not doctored. Right. It's real. And who thought his own parents would be the ones to bring him down?
Okay.
Villains lie all the time, so I'm not going to take the word of Lex Luthor. James Gunn confirming is what I needed.
We just clarified, just for the record. I just want to get it down. Are there implications for this going forward, or have you dealt with this? I mean, do you imagine this being dealt with in future Superman stories?
I mean, honestly, I think he deals with it in this story pretty much. I mean, I think that this story, at the heart of it, is a story about a guy who's doing things he thinks for reasons outside of himself.
Yeah.
Comes to realize through the love of a parental figure, his father and mother, that he is not doing things because of someone outside himself. He's doing things because of that's what he believes. It's not an outside force telling him what to do or what to think. He's doing it. It's not destiny.
Right.
It's his own choice.
There are also echoes of Star-Lord, Ego, Yondu in this kind of like trio. Has that? I mean, in terms of like the dad that's the birth father.
Oh yeah,
that betrays you. That isn't who you think.
Yes, yeah.
The adoptive father who really,
the
moral compass.
I don't know. So I have a lot of adopted kids in my family.
Yeah.
My best friend is adopted. A few of my best friends are adopted. I don't know why it is that those themes speak to me, but they do.
So we've talked a little bit about some changes in the process of test screening.
I like that answer because it's great. It makes you think about him. But the question does allude to how you do the same things in your movies. Yeah. I don't know why adoption speaks to me. And we go, wow, what a giving guy. What a thoughtful human on the right. You make the same movies, bro. Should I keep playing this? What part do you want to see next?
He talks about the Hall of Justice at 39 seconds and just about that mural.
Oh, yeah, towards the ending.
Mural. We do see some.
Yeah, the mural's cool, right?
Right. So people are now starting to pick it apart and see some notable faces.
Who do they think?
Jay Garrick, Flash. Alan. Really? Okay. Alan Scott, Green Lantern.
I don't think so. I got to look at the
Dr. Fate in there?
I think Dr. Fate's in there. Yeah.
Were any other characters considered for the Justice Gang, but besides the ones you landed on? Martian Manhunter, Black Canary, all over the place.
Ooh, not that I remember. I mean, not that I remember.
Okay.
They happen to be 3 of my favorites, so I just kind of was picking my favorite children.
Any other villains? We obviously have Lex, but you could have done Brainiac.
Brainiac was considered, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was sort of considered, but yeah.
Everyone pronounces it differently. Mixelplick. I feel like if anyone could do it, maybe you could do it.
Mr. Mixelplicks it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You could have Ultraman I could have seen a version where that's Bizarro, literally Bizarro Superman.
Right, exactly.
This is your take on Bizarro, or could Bizarro Superman be something that we see at some point?
Well, we'll have to see where we go next.
Okay.
That's a very vague answer, but
that means I'm hitting pay dirt. I'm hitting the good stuff.
No, it just means I don't know what the hell I'm doing yet.
Okay, well, let's get to that. We do know.
I don't have a problem with what James Gunn did. Anytime someone's going to ask you a question about future plans, you should have the same answer. Like, I don't know. Yeah, we don't know. I also don't know if that's confirmation, or maybe I have no idea. To just joke and laugh around it. That's how you're supposed to keep secrets. You can't give away when that Bizarro is going to be a villain 5 years from now or whatever. You have a problem with what he said?
No.
Yeah.
No, I liked his whole interview.
Okay.
You are writing a script. You've been writing, which is another Superman involved story.
Yes.
Fair enough to say.
Totally fair enough to say.
You have been cagey, though, in saying it's
I'm being very cagey.
Not exactly a Superman sequel per se.
World's finest?
Here's what from the fan perspective, one of the regrets around post Man of Steel was we never got like another Superman adventure.
Yes.
Right? Henry didn't get his shot at another Superman movie.
Yes, yeah.
So make me feel better. Like
it's Superman is very important. It's not like, and it isn't Batman versus Superman. It isn't.
Okay. It's not world's finest Batman, Superman. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. This is getting touchy territory. This is intended to be the next one you direct. Is there a timeline and when you think we might hear about this?
Oh,
yes.
Direct.
Sooner than later?
Yes.
Like this week?
No.
Comic-Con?
I like interviews where I just say yes or no.
You're enjoying it?
I'm going to do that. The next press tour, I'm just going to be, okay, everybody, only yes or no questions. It'll be so much less stressful.
The audience loves all of these characters, and there's already talk, supposedly, Mr. Terrific. People love Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, they love Mr. Terrific. They love Jimmy Olsen. They love Eve. Everybody. I mean, it's like it's great. Guy Gardner.
So how far along? It sounds like Mr. Terrific and Jimmy are both being considered for series.
That's what.
Uh-oh.
One could see a Daily Planet show with Jimmy front and center. That doesn't seem like a crazy
One
notion.
could see that, Josh.
What did he mean when he said, ugh? I'm going to rewind to 10 seconds. When he was asked about a Mr. Terrific show.
Are both being considered for series.
That's what.
Like what? Why did he do that? And then with the eyes, he went like, sorry, wrong button. With the eyes, he was like, whoa. Is that like because he's tired of fan speculation? That's me looking at it in the most happiest possible way. He's just like, oh, here come the fans, and then they're gonna start asserting themselves as the guys who lead, like who run the show. I don't like after Mr. Terrific.
Maybe. I wouldn't just put it on Mr. Terrific though. Josh asked him about Mr. Terrific and a Jimmy series, and he scuffed at that question. So I don't know if it is because the rumor that got out, or if it's because it got out and he didn't want it out there or something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's like Mr. Terrific.
What if it's Disney Plus? They make them do TV shows, and it's a lot of workload. Maybe it could be that.
One could see a Daily Planet show with Jimmy front and center. That doesn't seem like a crazy
One
notion.
could see that, Josh.
Should we talk about Batman for a second?
Oh God,
the hardest
from bad to worse.
The good news is you got the script.
I mean, Guy Gardner's going to be in Lanterns.
Yes, we know.
Can we talk about the things that we are out there that I've actually said, as opposed to the whispers online that are sometimes made up and sometimes real?
I'm trying to clarify things.
We wish they didn't cut, because I wanted to hear. Okay, so the Jimmy Olsen and the Green and the Terrific is real. In other words, one could see anything. I think he was just shrugging at leak culture in general. I hope that's it. He didn't just after Terrific. All right. Because he almost gave it away. Non-committal, maybe. Josh sucks. He couldn't take a hint. Yeah, but he cuts right after that interview answer. Should I keep going with this? The next topic is Batman.
Okay, we do know Matt Reeves did deliver the script.
Yeah,
and we know you read it and you seem very pleased.
I like it. Yes.
So on track for that release date. We feel like now we're headed in the right direction.
Oh yeah, for sure, we're headed in the right direction. So there's some things we still got to work out, but like it's headed in the right direction for sure.
So look, we've had this conversation before, but I'm going to bring up the Batman DCU stuff like again. So like obviously Brave and the Bold we know is being written, and the DCU Batman is still intended to be a different Batman than Rob. I guess my question is like timeline wise, like how does this work? Like is there I presume you wouldn't want to release Brave and Bold and the Batman 2 in the same calendar year. It like starts to get a little confusing or no, you tell me. I mean, having two Batmen running around at the same time.
Probably not. But yeah, probably not. No.
Okay.
Probably not the same calendar year. Yeah.
Is Brave and Bold when you think we'll see that Batman for the first time?
Can't say. You can't answer that.
I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
But that answer about the probably not about being in the same calendar year, damn, why the hell is it probably not? You know, shouldn't it be like definitely not? I know for a fact that's not going to happen. What is he? Is he just like, is it because Matt Reeves keeps delaying and we never know when this guy can get his Batman off? Is that what he's trying to say?
Well, as far as we know it, Reeves has turned in his script. You know, Reeves turned in the script. He says he really likes the script. When did they say they're supposed to start shooting? 20, or when this is supposed to come out? 2027.
Yeah, so he's shooting 26.
Yeah, he says he likes it. He says, you know, that Reeves has turned it in and things like that. So when he says probably not, I don't know. I mean, the last thing I heard James, well, not really heard James, but the kind of talk around this from some scooper people were just that he was going to, or it was going to be a deal where they weren't going to release Brave and the Bold. Brave and the Bold, from our understanding, is not anywhere close. He's going to let Reeves do his thing, and then after that year or whatever, then Brave and the Bold would come out, and then they would do that Batman. I don't think you drop them the same year. Because then you
Brave and Bold.
Because then you're competing. Then both studios are then competing with one another. Or it's the same studio. I'm sorry. Both films are competing with one another. You're going to have the same studio, but the same character going against each other in the box office. I mean, it's a win-win for DC, Warner Brothers, rather. They're making money from both films. But in terms of Matt Reeves or James Gunn, one of you is going to get the shorter end of the stick. People are either going to love Brave and the Bold, hate it, and love Reeves more, or opposite.
The only example I can think of where I think Matrix had two movies in the same year. Well, Avengers had a calendar year right after, and they both did great. Infinity War and Endgame. Obviously, there is a difference. You know, it's not the same universe. But the Batman thing is going to be interesting to monitor.
Have you gotten into casting yet in your head?
No. Why are you winking at me?
That's weird. What do you think about the fans that talk about someone like Alan Ritchson?
I am a big Alan Ritchson fan. Both as an actor and as a guy. let's just wait to see what happens.
Okay. I guess my only other thing I'll say on that front, and then I'll move on, I promise, is again, and you can say anything you want or nothing at all, but like when you're casting that role, it would seem to me you have to differentiate in some substantial way the take on Batman so it doesn't get confusing, right? Like whether it's a different age, a different vibe, something. Is that in your head? Like when
That's
we get
always
there?
going to be the case.
Yeah.
What two Batmans have the same vibe?
Well,
Clooney and Kilmer.
That's fair. Okay.
I mean, but they're the same director.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like
it's dictated by the material and the take.
The material, the take.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
The actors, the actors aren't important.
We learn nothing else.
No, listen. And do I ever think about it? Sure, there's people out there I think about, but let's see where the script comes in.
Okay.
It's not the furthest along thing. I mean, we have things that are much, much further along.
Let's talk about the further along. Supergirl's in the can.
Supergirl's in the can. Don't leave out Peacemaker 2.
We're going to be talking about that in about a week. I'm very excited about
Peacemaker 2 is a direct follow-up to Superman. We have so many characters from Rick Flag's in it, Hawkgirl, Maxwell Lord, Guy Gardner. So it's the direct follow-up to Superman.
No, terrific.
And
but very R-rated.
I can't wait. We're going to see not only Lobo but Crypto in Supergirl.
Lobo is so freaking awesome. Jason Momoa is so. Oh my God! Yeah,
I mean, we've all agreed. Like,
I like to hear that a supporting character in something James Gunn is calling awesome. After seeing what the terrific and Guy Gardner were able to do, if he's telling me Lobo's awesome, if I'm hearing Jason Momoa, yeah, dude, love the character, then I believe it. Yes, this is gonna be awesome.
This was like the easiest casting ever.
It was. Well, he pushed himself on me too. I gotta say, but Lobo is great, and then and that's great. And then we have Lanterns coming out, which is great. We have Clayface, which is about to go into production.
Cast your Clayface. You have James Watkins directing. This is going to be
Flanagan script. Yep.
And you've said the script is what sold you. It's always going to sell you.
Yeah.
This is
a total horror movie. Like really, it's like it could be a Blumhouse, big budget horror film, and but it's within the DCU, which I think is a cool thing to do.
Let me just run down a few others. You tell me as much as you want or not. So, like, are we anywhere on like a Wonder Woman script? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll get back to the Wonder Woman. His Clayface thing, right? So. He mentioned Mike Flanagan is the one who did the script, right? He's really in love with that. He called it a big budget horror movie, which since horrors usually have smaller budgets, a big budget horror movie is still small compared to what superheroes do. I'm worried if this makes money or not. I think it was a terrible decision to greenlight a horror movie. If we're talking risks, that's a risk, Kevin Feige. I'm worried, and I don't care to see this movie. Do you feel like you want to see the movie now?
What, Clayface?
Yeah.
I mean, I again put Clayface in the same category I put the Sony stuff. I mean, I do Superman or not Superman. James Gunn's universe seems interesting after Superman, especially them changing Clayface over from Reeves' universe to this universe because he liked the script so much and changing it up and making it rated R and all that kind of stuff. That's all fine. But is Batman going to make an appearance? He asked him, where's the next place Batman's going to show up? Oh, I can't say that. Is it Clayface? Are we going to see Bruce, the Bat, the Cape Crusader? What are we doing here? Because I don't I don't even want to just see that. I mean, he would need to say something for me, honestly, because I don't want to see just, we've done this dance. And I stopped. I bowed out of that dance with Sony a long time ago.
I hope they put some pants on Wonder Woman.
To that Wonder Woman question, he didn't know at the time, but that broke maybe, what was that? That broke about 35 minutes ago. Anna Norgaria is pinned to do the script for DC's Wonder Woman. These are some of the things she's done. The Battery's Down, Never Here. I don't know these things. I don't know these projects at all. The Michael J. Fox show. She did that from 2013 to 2014. Hightown, We Win. Oh, I guess you could say Vampire Diaries is her most notable
Uh-huh.
project.
Okay, that's something. People like We Win. I've heard of it.
Never seen it.
Pronounced Noguera. Noguera. That's how you say her name.
She is doing Supergirl. Writing Supergirl. So we'll see.
Or not. So like
or Wonder Woman, sorry.
Are
Wonder
we anywhere on like a Wonder Woman script? Like
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You feel like there's a take, there's a direction.
Yes.
That feels distinct from what we've seen before.
Yeah, very. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's gonna happen before Brave and the Bold.
I'm excited about very, very excited about Wonder Woman right now.
Do you anticipate seeing something like a new Flash, a new Aquaman in the next few years, or is that a little ways off?
I wouldn't say the next 2 years for either of those characters.
Okay.
Well, then 3 years from now, 2028. That's what I heard. What did you guys hear?
So that kind of confirms that also, like, the League is not going to be a thing right now for a while. They're going to go with the Justice gag, I guess, for a while, and probably adding members to that. But it'll be members like we just got at the end of Superman, like Metamorpho, not like Flash, or I'm assuming even Wonder Woman. I don't know that unless he's doing things very different, and Superman joins the Justice Gang, and Wonder Woman joins the Justice Gang, and that's just the team until you get to these other guys, which I don't like. But we'd see. I mean, my thing has always been from the very beginning with this stuff with James, and not to say I don't like the direction he's going thus far with things. I do. I'm just saying my thing from the very beginning has been, I say this every time, you have gods at your fingertips. I don't know why you wouldn't use the original Justice League, not the Justice League of America, but the JLA we're all used to start the universe. I don't know that. I don't understand why use these, whatever, but hey, we'll see.
Why keep using them? Like, you lucked out. You got Supergirl, you got Clayface, and oh, never mind, bro. I'm just gonna repeat myself. Yeah.
It's a broken record with it. It's like I don't get it, but I know that James likes to do these characters and elevate them that most people aren't used to seeing, and that's great. I like what you did with Mr. Terrific, but when we're talking, I'm not about to sit here and say I'm the biggest Aquaman enthusiast or anything like that, but when you're talking 2 years for Aquaman, 2 years for the Flash,
you gotta get Booster Gold and Peacemaker.
Yeah, but then you're having conversations about, oh, well, don't forget about Peacemaker, how important it is, and Booster Gold and these characters. It's like, bro, no, Batman, Martian Manhunter, the Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. Let's get the core group in here. And yeah, people are tired of side characters. Again, we just did this dance with Sony. And I, again, have not seen Morbius, won't see Morbius, haven't seen Madam Web, won't see Madam Web.
What's the other one? Kraven the Hunter?
Haven't seen it, won't see it. I checked out at Morbius when they lied to us for 2 years about Spider-Man being in it, and 2 weeks before the film said psych. So no. We can't do things without the franchise main character. So going into Clayface, I don't want a nod. That's not good enough. And I'm serious. And it's not to say like me not watching it is going to tarnish the Clayface show or anything like that. I could give a good goddamn. I'm just saying I don't want a nod. Like, I don't want in the Clayface episode is it a movie? It's a movie. I don't want in the last few minutes of the movie where they say,
I'm Batman.
Like, something like, oh, the detective's going to be on this, or something like that, or the bat, or we see the symbol in the sky and it cuts to credits. That is infuriating. I feel like we are also, how James was talking about last week, we're past just putting characters that we've never seen on screen together and audiences getting excited. We're also past putting like these little nods to the next movie and people getting excited. You put the bat symbol in the sky and the Clayface cuts to credits, I'm instantly furious, because that means I have to wait another 2 to 3 years before we get anything Batman.
What about Robin? No. What about Nightwing?
Well, if this is Brave, the way that Brave and the Bold is described, he has Damon. So yeah, where the fuck they'd have to be there?
Oh, I mean, no Batman, just Robin.
No.
I'd have
If
to
he's
see.
Nightwing.
Okay, a Nightwing.
If it's Dick and it's Nightwing, sure. I wouldn't mind Red Hood something, but it's even with the Red Hood, I need Batman there.
Okay, I don't. I think Nightwing's enough.
If it's Nightwing and it's a Nightwing film, sure, but you're talking a Red Hood film?
No, I mean in Clayface. If Clayface features the Nightwing, like he's the one being chased and he's the one like in the horror role.
Oh no, that's still not enough for me. This is a brand new universe. If this was a already established universe and you do a Clayface thing and then Nightwing shows up and like we know he's already had connections and we've seen him on screen with the Batman already. That again, I love Nightwing. I like he's great, but we are talking about DC's greatest selling hero. So when you're doing his little obscure villains like Clayface, and Clayface is one of those obscure ones from him, he damn well better show up. It can't be, I'm here in place of the Batman. He's busy tonight. I'm Nightwing. Oh, we know who Nightwing is, but that's not fucking good enough. Where's Batman? It's like I don't know if you've seen The King with Timothée Chalamet, but there's a scene in there where his little brother goes to fight in his place instead of him, and then the dude refuses to fight him and says, "I didn't ask for the little dog. Where's the big dog?" I'm the same way. Where's the big dog? Not asking for the little dog.
Mm-hmm. Bat Family will probably be introduced when we see Batman. Okay.
The Authority still on your mind?
Yeah, but that's been a rough
That's
road.
a slower one.
Yeah,
Just harder
I love hearing that.
to crack, harder to.
Yeah. The writer moved on to another project in the DCU that I think he's really killing right now. So
Okay. And that project would be
another movie.
that we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. Swamp Thing. Has Mangold delivered a script?
We talked to James the other day. So no, he hasn't delivered a script. It's he's been distracted with his billions of movies.
Yes.
But I think we're talking about it again. So
And I mean, Sergeant Rock seemed like it was very close.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have hopes that it's going to come back around relatively soon?
Hugely.
Okay.
I'm really excited about Sergeant.
And with Luca still involved?
No.
Okay.
Again, we're talking about characters like Sergeant Rock. And I'm not gonna pretend to be some savant here. I didn't know who Sergeant Rock was until James Gunn introduced this character and saying that they were making this movie or TV show. And this could just be me, maybe the chat. There's a lot of you in here. Maybe you guys knew who Sergeant Rock was before DC announced it. But I'll tell you what, you put out, and he said this is a movie, right? You put out a Sergeant Rock movie. That just, to me, if I'm DC, I'm David Zaslav, I'm James Gunn, I'm looking at firstly the success of Superman. If the name alone of Superman is not driving a global and domestic box office success, then why the fuck would I continue to put energy into characters like Sergeant Rock?
Yeah. You got your Peacemaker. You got it. You did it. Hey,
exactly.
You get to do Clayface. Enough. All right.
Got Peacemaker.
You got Peacemaker and Clayface, right? I don't think Supergirl is down there in the C list, D list, but still, that's another one that's not your top heavy hitters. What he said about the writer for Authority, he's doing a movie that we haven't talked about. That's interesting because Wonder Woman is coming up, and then this mystery movie.
So the Authority is the thing that got canceled.
Yeah, it had the engineer in it.
Mm-hmm. And now the writer for that is doing a different movie.
Good. Something high profile, I would hope. And then he mentioned Swamp Thing afterwards, and that's separate. That's a James Mangold thing.
That's an Elseworld thing, right?
Yeah, it's an Elseworld, but it's also like something I don't want.
Yeah, again, it falls into that 3 years ago announcement he did from the closet when he was talking about with that green screen, and he's talking about, and then we're going to have Shazam and these Elseworld films and Waller and this and this and that. This is just me. It just speaks for me. Ben said the same thing. I don't see the point of that. I don't see the point of announcing a Waller show or announcing a Swamp Thing or announcing the Authority when you literally have gods. I just don't get it. That wouldn't be my go-to.
Okay. Is there one filmmaker, if you had your druthers, if you could lure anybody into the DCU, who would you grab?
Nolan. Coogler.
Make your pitch.
Matt Reeves.
You already got him. Oh, he's in the DCU.
He's not in the DCU.
Have you talked to him? You must have talked to him about it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
Because we thought they hated each other and that one movie was preventing the other movie.
Well, not even that. Because the way that maybe there are conversations still on the table about Pattinson coming over. Maybe there are. The way James has been talking about Batman 2 lately, it's made it seem like no, there are no conversations about Pattinson coming over to. Do I believe that those conversations have been there? Yes. Do I believe? But the way he's recently been talking about it, I thought that he's been saying like, no, we're simply doing Brave and the Bold, and he's doing his thing, and that's just what it's going to be. But maybe those conversations are on the table, because why say Matt Reeves? I mean, he's gonna say in this interview, I want him to do another movie, but in actuality, maybe it is the thing of him still trying to get Reeves on board with getting Pattinson over here instead of doing two separate Batman. I don't know. That's interesting. He said Matt.
No,
Reeves.
I mean Matt to me, listen, Matt, I love the people that are out there making pop movies that are still, it's Matt Reeves, it's Greta Gerwig, it's Ryan Coogler,
it's their vision,
it's the guys that, and I'm friendly with all those people, and they're making big movies that still have themselves in it.
Yeah, they're personal, yet they resonate with everybody.
And so I love people that are taking risks in the area of spectacle film, because most of the stuff out there is not a risk. It's just,
it's disposable. Yeah.
I love disposable stuff.
Yeah.
But let's make it good disposable.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I love big popcorn movies, but it's just like it gets to be, boring when they're all the same.
Okay, I'll end with this. What's the barometer?
Wait, he mentioned Ryan Coogler's name out of the blue. Greta Gerwig, she was the Barbie director, and then she goes, Ryan Coogler. That's not, I don't know. I feel like he's been talking to him, and I don't want Ryan Coogler to do another big IP like this. I think he
has been talking to him. He mentioned, remember the last thing we did? I think we talked about it Friday.
Yeah.
The video where we pulled up where he said he was talking to Ryan. He had called Ryan Coogler. He didn't go into the specifics of what he called Ryan Coogler about, but then he started talking about how he started reminiscing with him about the Black Panther premiere when he worked for Marvel and how he was there and this and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Why else would you call Ryan Coogler? If I'm the president of DC Studios, you gave Marvel their first $1.3 billion, or first $1 billion film. You just had a very, very successful film in Sinners. We both work we both worked for the same company in Marvel, and we both still work for the same company in WB. Hello, brother. Come and do this film for me.
Yeah. And I want Ryan Coogler to use his celebrity the way Jordan Peele is using his power and everything he's got, his awards, his accolade, to make some things that are original. Because when you work for the man, you don't get to keep things like this. You don't get to further it. He didn't make the first $1 billion movie though. Ryan Coogler, Iron Man 3 was $1 billion. There's been others.
Their highest grossing billion then.
For a solo. Yeah.
Barometer of success, if when we talk in 5 years or 10 years, and you're presumably still at DC, I mean, is it about who you've introduced, what you've done, like what you've led to? I mean, how are you gauging your own success?
James, what is your relationship with your wife like now that she's forgiven you for disappearing for 3 years?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, it is, the barometer of success is for me, am I enjoying myself creatively? And I have enjoyed myself creatively over the past 3 years, but it's just been too much. I've done too much, which is like, it needed to be done. This is a kickstarting this whole enterprise. So I needed to do too much, but it was too much. And I need to balance out my life with my work. And then hopefully that will make my work even better.
Right.
You know? And I'm not stupid enough to say, oh, if I love the movie, then it's a success, because it's not.
It's not that easy. Yeah.
You know, but what I think of the movie itself isn't really the most important thing. What I think of the process of making the movie, now that belongs to me. The movie isn't mine. The movie belongs to everybody else.
Right.
But the process, that belongs to me. So if there is a metric for success, it's going to be like, over the past few years, did you, I don't want to say enjoy yourself, but was it rich? Was it fulfilling?
Yeah.
Tell that to David Zaslav. I'm good. The metric of success is fulfillment. All right. Okay, Gandhi. We good? Is there more in this that we got to hear?
No, Pete pretty much touched on everything there. But yeah, like I said, his wasn't as big. He touched on a few things there, but biggest one was just Feige. Just Feige there.
The measure of success is hilarious, though. It's clearly he doesn't want to have a number on the box office to point at or to be held to. It sucks. I'll give him this, though. He can tell us we've overexceeded our licensing, our merchandising for this movie. So it's performing well domestically and the toys are selling. He can say a quote like that, right? And hopefully maybe even give the numbers, but probably not. He can say things to support why the box office isn't the be all end all for this movie.
Yeah. They're still tracking pretty good on that movie, or for Superman. The last thing we can show, if you didn't have anything else on that, was just the Fantastic Four new clip they did. We know the reactions for Fantastic Four, first reactions for Fantastic Four, which you always have to take with a massive grain of salt, came out. And they were nothing but good. And again, that's why you always have to be skeptical of those. People were calling it, no puns intended, fantastic, and it's this and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. But once people see it, once the reactions come out on Monday, we'll have a more kind of real idea of what we're looking at here. But reactions have been good so far.
For this,
4 years ago, we were dreamers. Today, we face a danger that has threatened our home. He said, "Give us your child, and I will spare the earth."
I am not giving him up. We will face this together as a family.
No.
Yeah, they put that. I hate that saying so much. I hate that saying.
Yeah,
it's overused,
and it's wrong for Marvel to use it. You guys,
it is.
You kind of because Thunderbolts was good, right? You can't say this. No.
We will protect you.
Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four. See the biggest movie of the summer in IMAX. Get tickets now. Rated PG-13.
Disney with the biggest movie of the summer, Jurassic World, is going to kick this thing's butt.
They have been really promoting the hell out of Fantastic Four with a lot of different things. But one of the things they put out over the weekend was, or this past week, was an hour, 90-minute video on their Marvel YouTube page going over the history of the Fantastic Four in the comics, covering major events, different things like that. It's a pretty interesting video. I liked it. But this was one of the reactions that stuck out to me. It says, many will say Fantastic Four First Steps is fantastic, and they'll be right for several reasons. The 4 main cast members are excellent. Michael Giacchino's lively score and is instantly memorable, and the 60s retro futuristic production design and dynamic visual effects are a delightful treat rather than an eyesore. The story's focus on the theme of family can feel a bit overdone at this point in the MCU, and the villains aren't the most compelling, but the cast does a lot of heavy lifting to make you deeply care about these characters, their relationship, and end of the world stakes they face. Combined with Matt Shakman's snappy, confident storytelling, this is an intriguing and satisfying first step for Marvel's new team. Easily the best depiction of this of the 4 on screen to date. As the MCU continues to regain control of the ship and steer it closer to doomsday. I think that was, out of all the reactions I saw, that was probably the most real, because every other one was just like, oh my God, it's so good, it's so perfect, it's everything, we are so back, it's just the perfect
it's just
movie.
Fantastic. It's a triumph.
Yeah. So out of all the ones that came out, that was probably the most real one I saw. That's why I saved that one. Like I said, we know that it is coming out this week. One of the things that I found out that because they did a featurette also with Shakman and some of the others, I did not know, and I highly appreciate this. Ralph Emerson, who is playing Galactus, that is not CGI. He is in a practical suit, and they built a miniature New York for him to stomp around on. So when you see the film, when you see the not just the film, not just that, but also the ship, the Fantastic Four ship is a mini replica of the ship that he built for the set, for the cast to actually come on and be able to look up at something and have it be practical. He says since this was like the 60s, in the 60s, he wanted to film this like a 60s film, like, you know, things you would do in the 60s. So I like the thing that they did with Ralph Emerson and his costume. It's not CGI. There's no dots. That's actually him in a, outside of like the technicalness of the helmet, but he's this all down as a suit, and he is literally kicking around buildings and fake cars in a practical New York set. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot easier on the budget also. Right?
Yeah, I'd say that as well.
They did miniatures for Star Wars movies with some of those spaceships. Good job, Marvel. You learned from the creators, the creator director.
Yeah.
I think that's a weird way of marketing the movie. It's not traditionally. If you remember a superhero movie like Avengers, Infinity War, dreaded Run for the Destiny still arrives. Who are you? And you see the heroes teaming up, and you see all. And this was like a piano, ding, turns to blue, and it says a quote. And then you see them walking. I don't want to give away my son. And then you see the pressure of the city looking at them like, you got to give up your son. This was so non-superhero spectacle. This was more so like, this is a grounded story. So that is for those guys who chase awards, and that's different.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll see. We'll see exactly. Like I said, I see it Thursday, 2:40. I'm not going to hide my excitement. This is one I've been excited for since its announcement. I love Marvel's First Family. I'm not going to pretend that I don't either. I have not loved every iteration of them, or any iteration of them on screen thus far. But hopefully, not hopefully. So from what I've seen and what I know about this film, I know I'm going to like it. So
those interviews were cringe with Pedro and Vanessa. There's a lot of them, but so what? Like, you get eyes for cringe. You get attention. So I won't say that it's been hurting the movie. Jurassic. Most people want to see Jurassic more. That's why it's going to make more money. It's not going to hit. There's nothing to grab the unfamiliars, those that you call casuals. Ooh, what do you say to that?
Well, I will say those that I call casuals I've spoken with, specifically the casuals I sat down with dinner at for the Thunderbolts. I will say that they are anticipating Fantastic Four, where they were not anticipating the Thunderbolts. Fantastic Four is also tracking to do way better than Brave New World and the Thunderbolts did in theaters. It's tracking currently at $130 million in its opening weekend. So those numbers are obviously likely to change. People's feelings are likely to change between now and Thursday. We won't know until after the first weekend. However, I do think that this one is different from Brave New World and different from Thunderbolts. It has a different appeal to it. It has a different sense of feeling to it. I feel like the conversation around this one is even different. Again, these people, it's not like I have millions of followers on my Instagram, but those are also casual viewers. And when I posted the poll asking who was excited, there seemed to be a lot of excitement still around Fantastic Four.
130. That's more than Superman's 125. So we'll see which one makes more money, Darius.
We'll see. I still think it's Fantastic Four, definitely. So I mean, I'm pretty confident on our bet, and I've also made shelf space for that figure. So,
anyways, we got to get to this super chat.
Expect it to be here very soon.
I just keep elevating. No losses, just upgrading. My lessons made blessings. I turned that into money.
Nice job covering this. Thanks, Cal. Appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
A lot of love today. A lot of thanks yous and a lot of things. So this is the morning report, and we don't leave until we do one thing. See, it's a tradition here. It's where we play a little game. I'm gonna play it. If you're here in the live chat and you want to participate, come through. It says there was 70 people watching right now between our two channels. That's awesome. Let's keep it up. Let's do it again tomorrow, 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. if you're in the Central Time Zone. But the game we play is a game of this or that.
The choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this or you can get with that.
You can get with this or that. The Simpsons home, the Family Guy home. Between these two, which one would you rather live in? To the left, we got the Simpsons 2-car garage. It looks like the Family Guy only have one, but the Family Guys have this little solarium, this little extended room outside. That's got to be nice and luxurious. We see the green roof from the Family Guy. There's a TV antenna still on the Simpsons, sitting right next to where Apu would howl at the moon. A lot of memories here. If you like the Simpsons neighbors, you get a Flanders. Some people might like that. There's a tree in the background for the Simpsons. There's a tree in the background for the Family Guy. Do you like the mailbox that the Family Guy have? I don't see it over there for the Simpsons. You got to get the newspaper getting thrown straight to your door like that video game on Nintendo 64. Or even before that, I think it was Sega. Who you got? This or that, we're asking. Chat says, Family Guy for me, Family Guy for me. Springfield, Simpsons. Oh, it's 2-2.
Family Guy.
Xavier Phoenix goes with the Family Guy. Simpsons, hands down, this is a tight race. Why did you go with Family Guy?
Family Guy's a better show. Sorry to you Simpsons
Why is
fans.
the house better then? What do you mean better show? Why is the house better?
Show.
You can't go there. The house. Look at the home. Which one's larger? Who's got a better door? Who's got the better window?
I don't know. I don't know. Out of the two houses, I don't ever, when I'm watching Simpsons or Family Guy, I'm never looking at their houses. I don't know. I guess because of the contents and family within the home, I'm choosing again Family Guy.
Which one's easier to shovel snow for? I think the Simpsons kind of have a little bit of advantage. I'm not saying that to be contrarian. I'm just thinking like when you're shoveling, you get to also turn left and go straight to the driveway. But with the Family Guy, damn, when you're shoveling that snow in Rhode Island where it snows, you kind of have to go through the grass. It's like not a direct route. You know, the salt will hurt the grass.
I can't. I have no idea. That was a deep imaginative one there. I can't. I could do like Maggie or Stewie, but again, it's Stewie. But I can't choose between their homes.
I got Stewie over Maggie too. Bay windows on The Simpsons. Family Guy's house is bigger and the neighbors are more lit. Who are the neighbors on Family Guy? Cleveland?
Everyone. Cleveland, Quagmire, Joe. They all live on the same street.
Oh yeah, Joe's right next to him. You're right. Joe's right next to him on the handicap guy.
You've got the little predator down the street, the old man.
Herbert.
You've got, who else lives on their street? I don't think anybody else of note lives on their street.
I don't know. That was fun though. We do it every morning. Wake up to be woken up. We should call it the woke mornings. Woke up. Rename the show.
Yeah, the morning report. Like I said, appreciate everybody that has. I say this every time. All of you, especially today. I think this was a very big audience today. But this was one too that was a stream that was advertised almost 24 hours in advance. So trying to get on that as well, especially on these bigger news topic days like today, where we have several things, and there's a lot still over the weekend outside of Kevin Feige that happened that we just did not get to today because Marvel just took up everything. But there was a lot of other big topics from over the weekend that we can still dive into for tomorrow. I'm sure things later in the evening probably will pop off for tomorrow as well. So the morning report is something we do every week, Monday through Friday, even on Thursdays when we have our Pantheon stream with Marcus over at Back of the Bus. Go subscribe if you are not. We do our Pantheon stream on Thursdays, but morning report is in the morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we cover all those topics and have all that fun with you guys and games and things. Now, we didn't do any games today besides this or that, but that's because, again, who was expecting Kevin Feige to vomit at the mouth like that this weekend? So that's what we got. So yeah, we appreciate every single one of you guys, and every single one of you, even if you didn't send a super chat, you are still so very much appreciated. Your presence, your engagement, your time, you being here, wanting to listen to us talk for 3 hours. We appreciate it. And for everybody that sent a super chat, thank you very much. It is very, very generous. We appreciate it very much because you don't have to be giving us your money, but you are, and we appreciate that. So thank you very much for your time. And I say it all the time. Chill may not, because he's not as close and affectionate with the view.
What happened to the internet connection from Darius of Planet Fanatics?
But I love you guys very much, and I will always love you guys, and I appreciate you guys so very much in your time. So thank you.
Rock out, fucking with it. I'm out. Thank you for coming. Bye. Yeah, we don't have an outro. Hey, contest. Anyone who creates music, create an intro and an outro for us, and we'll check it out. All right? All right. Later.
Peace out.